10:47 in the Pacific Northwest. Welcome to this blessed new moon in Scorpio reading. We're going to be doing a lot of different things. Spirit doesn't have me do this very often. They don't just have me like come in and just, at 10:47. It's so random. I was like, it's so random. I mean, if nobody shows up, that's okay too, In fact, I just realized I forgot to put on the 18 plus. I don't need to put it on, but we had 2 live readings out of like 19 live readings we did for the last Sacred Sunday. 2 of them, we had a lot of kids, but one we were really inundated by really young, like I think the one she was like 8 or 9. Anyway, so precious. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here today. I just realized I washed my hands, but I forgot to put my rings on. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's get comfortable. Some people may actually be attending, so I am going to give just a few minutes while we settle in, and you can introduce yourself or not introduce yourself. I can't see you. All is well. Today we are going to be working with the Mind Body Makeover deck and the Practical Witches spell deck. Get yourself something clean to drink, something clean to eat, and let's sit back and relax. I'm going to drink some water now. I'm so excited to see what's going to come through. There's a very interesting energy that's happening right now. And I don't know if you guys can feel it, but my moon is in Scorpio. So we literally just shifted from the Libra moon to the Scorpio moon. It's been happening, right? But like we just hit that time where like they can put a time on it. It was 10:47 Pacific Standard Time. So I wasn't sure how this was going to go down for us, because my moon's in Scorpio, but I'm kind of feeling it. I feel a little drunk right now. I mean, I love my cannabis, but I really do feel like the moon energy. I can feel Lilith here. I can feel the energies here. So here we go. I call upon your higher self, my higher self, our spirit guides, the animal guides. I call upon the ancestors. With grace and gratitude, I welcome you into my home. The portal is now open and secure. As above, so below. We call upon all the energies of the north, south, east, and west. And all the energies and entities that align with them. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for protecting us in this container. Thank you to the Phoenix, who is our guest star. The Scorpio star is the Phoenix. And as the Phoenix rises out of the ashes, so shall we. It's been a rough fucking year, man. It's been a rough fucking year. And I know every year we say that, we say it's been a rough year, but it's been a doozy. It's been a doozy. But you know what's really cool? I don't know if you guys have felt this, but like I can really feel like the lightness coming in too. Like I can feel that we are in a different place right now. We really are. And now the scales have tilted. I feel like Libra just like fully poured her energy into the Scorpio energy, because Scorpio, I always feel like, at least for me, there's even though Scorpios can be quite secretive and more like inward thinking or whatever, don't get it twisted. They got that little stinger. And since the Scorpio is in my moon, which is associated with my heart and the water energy, every year it hits me different. But the one thing I feel is Scorpios are fiercely protective. Every Scorpio I've ever known has been so like strong and very kind and loving, because obviously like, right, like I'm a triple Sag, my moon's in Scorpio. So first time I had my chart like really read, she just was like, oh my God, like it was like she was reading a book about me, but like I wasn't giving me any information, but she was reading my chart as if she was reading a juicy novel. And it was quite hilarious. But what I have found is that no matter what the Scorpio like energy or the people or whatever, there is this protective energy, right? Like Scorpio's like, hey man, I'm chill, I'm cool, but like you I'm warning you, like back the fuck up, back the fuck up. Like they're coming at you, right? With their big claws. They're like, they're coming at you like, I'm gonna fuck a bitch up, like back up, right? And then it's like, if you don't back up, that stinger's like, bam, that's it. And then it's like you know, it's funny. I remember one time, my friend was like, never date a Scorpio. She said, you can sleep with a Scorpio, you can fuck a Scorpio's brains out, but never, ever date or marry a Scorpio. And I remember laughing and at the time not knowing that my moon was in Scorpio and ha 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 ha. Um, but there is a different energy that I think is really important this time of year because we've been in Scorpio season for how long? I mean, literally 2 days from now is going to be Sagittarius season, literally. So we're going to be going from just 2 days in Scorpio, and not even, it's less than 2 days in Scorpio. Probably less than 48 hours, actually. I didn't check to see when exactly what time Sagittarius comes in, but I mean, this is a very magical time because I feel like we're stepping into like the freewheeling, loyal, trustworthy, love everybody Sagittarius, but we're also going to be in this fierce, protected moon. And I feel it. Jesus has been coming to me a lot. And it feels like almost every day or every other day. I mean, I know my phone hears me, blah, 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 but this has been happening before I said it out loud. But I keep on my shuffle, on my Pandora shuffle, I keep getting these Return of the King from Lord of the Rings, like different parts of the soundtrack or whatever, but it's just really interesting. I don't know what that is. I don't know what an OF is. But thank you for participating, Trevor. And if that was something that was a slight or rude, like I don't even take it personally because I don't really care. I'm here for when Spirit told me I was going to go live because they told me for the longest time we were going to have like a closed circuit live with just our people. And I put it out there, and I didn't put it out there a lot. I just put it out there a little bit. But I got the vibe it was going to be a closed circuit, like local link. And then obviously I would put it out, for you guys to watch later. I would record. But then they told me just recently that it was going to go, I think it was Monday they told me that it was going to go live. And I'll be honest, I really kind of didn't want to do it. But, every time they have me do this, there's always a reason and there's always a purpose, even if it's for one person. Because none of us are more or less important. But you never know who that person is going to be that needed to find this channel or maybe these words or, whatever is coming through right now. It's very powerful. So, I think sometimes if people aren't here for, by the way, can someone tell me what an OF is? I guess I can look it up after this. I get the feeling I should, I get the feeling that I should hide it. Can I do that? Remove. Yeah, just remove. I don't know them, If they are part of our tribe, they'll come back in and explain themselves. But other than that, it's late as fuck here. I've been all over the planet. I've been like waking up at like 5:36 in the morning and then like going to bed at like 7:48. I look over and I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, what is happening? So I had to kind of redirect my sleep over the last 4 days. I feel like I'm kind of jet lagged, you know what I mean? like dragging myself because I knew that this was going to be important. And I'm so grateful to be here. You know, this container is open, it is protected, it is a beautiful portal of love and light and kindness. Let's bring in some bells. Bells. What was that? I'm like, bells. Okay, hold on. Trevor, did my comment get filtered? I explained. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But if you're here, you know, for light work, then please, you know, feel free to stay. But I have no idea. And I do feel like there is a Trevor in our group. So if you're one of our regulars, I apologize. It's just I have to be really mindful. And when it's this late at night and I'm not working on all cylinders, but I am working on cylinders, you know what I mean? It's like I was just saying, I mean, I am so happy to be here, but I'm also like super chill and tired. Okay, hi Trevor. I don't know what happened. Okay, you know what, here it says view deleted message. It doesn't, you know, I don't know how to do this very well. Let me see. All messages are visible. Let me see. Did my comment get filtered? Try again, Trevor. Try again. I'm going to ring some bells. I'm trying to break up the energy. Well, if it wasn't you, Trevor, there was a looky-loo or something. There was like, it kind of felt like just a shot of like dark energies like came through here, which, you know, we can all handle it. You know, I've got my protectors. Michael's always with me, like for real. I almost said for shizzle. Drink some water, you guys. You guys see 1158 a lot. When I just looked down, it said 1158. I see that a lot, which is interesting because 11 is divine angel number and 13 is the number of the divine feminine. So today we're going to be talking about the energy of Scorpio, which is transformation and change. And this is a group reading, but of course you guys can, you know, always ask questions. When it's live like this, I am here. I'm at your mercy. I'm at everyone's mercy to be the channeled messenger. I have to tell you guys, there's a lot of weird fucking energy here, so I'm just going to channel it. And it's interesting sometimes how they combine the cannabis for me to, you know, loop me into like different universe or worlds or portals or dimensions. It's all the same. I've been having the weirdest fucking dreams. Have you guys been having crazy dreams? I had the other day I had a dream, and I don't wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom very often, but I did. And I was having a dream about the sitting American president, and it was really weird. It was like we really knew each other, and but it was like where I was like calling him out on his shit, and we were arguing. It felt like we were family. It was really fucking weird. It felt like we were family somehow. And I was like, wow, wouldn't that be weird if I found out like through some like, you know, whatever, that like we're family, like, you know, blood and bone. I mean, we could be spiritual family. I mean, I've said this forever, you know, we have to remember that everybody here in the Matrix is playing like a part. Like in your movie, you're the star. In my movie, I'm the star. You know what I mean? So, in the Sitting American President's movie, he is definitely the fucking star. And sometimes I laugh, and I'm not laughing about what they're doing or what's happening. Please don't ever take that like that. It's not like that. What I'm saying is that the reality of how everybody can be in their own universe, we're all in our own fucking universe. We can all look at the same thing and have a completely different experience. I mean, they've done experiments like this for centuries of having this like 5 different people from different, you know, backgrounds and whatever, and like, and having them see the same thing and then separating them and getting their perception of it. And they're all different. Because think about it. If you are somebody who has never had to struggle, who's never, you know, I mean, I've had money and I've not had money. I've had money and I've not had money. And so I think there's something really powerful about that when you have it and then you don't have it. And so I think for those who've never experienced both, how can they really have any clue or idea what it's like to live like the other person. I don't know how to even answer that. Somebody just said, do you model? You know, it's funny. I used to be a model long time ago, long time ago. But anyway, we're here talking about spirit. We're not here talking about me, but thanks for stopping by. Um, but yeah, there's just this energy. And I swear, like when I woke up from the dream, I was like, what the fuck was that? It felt so real, like I was astral traveling, which I probably was. And it felt very real, you know, like some of my stuff, how I feel like when I'm doing interdimensional or whatever, you know, astral traveling, whatever language you want to put around it, because I do a lot of different things different ways. But when I'm doing it, a lot of times I don't even realize it. Once in a while, I'll go, you know, um, once in a while, thanks, Jared. Seriously, dude, if you're not here for spirit work, I appreciate you, but can you not like, I appreciate it. That's like so nice and kind to say something like that, but it really just distracts me because I'm thinking you're going to ask like a question about spirit or a reading or something like that. Otherwise, I try not to look at it. I don't have a moderator or somebody who like, you know, does my stuff for me. So when I'm channeling and I'm talking with spirit, it can be really distracting if you just pop up questions just randomly. But we are happy to have you here if you want to stay. But yeah, it was so crazy. It's really weird that we're going to get back to that too, because that's kind of weird, like the whole modeling thing, because I've been really battling with putting myself out there again and blah blah blah. We'll talk about that. I'm like there's so much happening. So I go back to bed and I end up in that fucking place again. That rarely happens to me. 1713, I feel like that's another good angel number. So I don't know if anybody's writing them down, but 1158 and 1713. 1158 and 1713. Okay. And I'll put them in the description box later after it uploads and all that. There's stuff in the description box now, by the way, if you guys want to check out the 1111 portal reading for the group. And then we had an 1111 portal pick a reading. It was like a group reading, pick a reading. But anyway, so yeah. And all of my information and anything, if you'd like to contribute to the channel, all that stuff is in the description box as well. But remember, prayer is free. It's just about the exchange of energy. All right. So with that out of the way, love you, love you, love you. It was so weird because when I went back into the dream, I was dressed and I could just tell like I was dressed impeccably because, you know, some of you know, some of you don't. Welcome, by the way, to our All Stars, and welcome back to our All Stars, and welcome to the new people. But I have worked in television and politics, and yes, I was a model and an actor and a singer, and I still do that on my other channel, Lula's Labyrinth. And I'm working on a lot of projects that are going to be coming out in the next 5 to 10 years, some sooner rather than later. But it was so crazy because I remember when I used to dress like that, you know, like perfectly coiffed, like really beautiful clothes, dressed impeccably, especially when I worked in politics. And in this dream, when I went back there, it was so crazy because the room was full and I could tell that they were all like very important political people. But I was like, where's my family? Like, where's my table? Like, where's my family table? And I remember I was like, oh God, like in my mind, I swear, I think the sitting American president was my dad or something. So I don't know. Maybe I was Tiffany. Maybe I was Ivanka. Maybe it was a different dimension and he was my dad there. I don't know. But he didn't feel like the president there. He felt like a businessman there, which was interesting. And I thought, maybe that's what's happening. Maybe he's jumping fucking dimensions. Maybe people are jumping back and forth between dimensions and portals because things are all coming together. And those of us who understand it, understand like we're already in the fifth dimensional energy. I had this discussion with somebody a few months ago and they totally pressed against me and said, you know, like, you know, verbally, and said, no, we're in the precipice. I'm like, no, we're there. I'm like, it's just some people are still fully in the third dimensional experience. Some are somewhere in the fray, in the fourth dimensional energy. They're kind of straddling between third, fourth, and fifth. And I said, and then there's some who are fully into the fifth and understand. And then there's some like myself where we're in the fifth, but we can go to all the different realms and dimensions and the places and the times and the inner earth and outer earth and other dimensions and universes. And there's so much that my brain feels like it's going to fucking explode sometimes. But it doesn't, because I realize I'm so blessed and I'm so gifted and I love my life and I wouldn't have it any other way. But yeah, it was really fucking weird because I saw my family, but then when I turned around, I saw the sitting American president, like in a really nice suit and a really beautiful, like overcoat. And they were slunched kind of over in this kind of booth area, and they were sleeping. And it was so weird because I was like, oh, he looks so peaceful. I'm like, he actually looks really peaceful. I'm like, I remember in the dream thinking, how fucking peaceful. I'm like, Ma, I don't know if I would look that peaceful if I was like ripping apart this country and, not feeding people and like building structures and putting my name on them to feel important. And it just was like fucking weird for me. It was just weird, I have to be honest. And it was very interesting. Then I wake up and I was looking for something online and I see this fucking picture of the sitting American president sleeping in I don't know if he was in the Oval Office or something. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it's getting to that point now where I'm just like, I don't know where I am or what's happening, but I'm very grateful to be a part of this and to experience this and to understand that we really do co-create our reality. And so many people are watching their lives change because we've been under this very like fucking scary regime for thousands of years. And that's why there's wars happening all over the world. It's not just America, it's everywhere. People are done fucking giving their time, their energy for free for some crazy exchange that's not even real. You know what I mean? That they have co-created and weaved these webs of lies and deceit and deception. They've been doing it over time. And I've been getting these really cool things from the universe about AI, and for us to just be mindful with AI. There's actually a lot of fucking cool shit happening in AI from the star family. So, by the way, you guys, I was channeling. I just noticed that you guys wrote stuff. Okay. I'm not, okay. 1111. That's right. Thank you, Trevor. Yes, 1111. Jared, have you always had such a kind soul, or did you have to work on it? I've always been a really like bright white light. Like when I was a little girl, from the time I was born, I had white hair and very light blue eyes. I'm American, and my family is, I'm a mutt for sure. But I've got everything from Eastern European to the UK to Native American. So I always kind of had this light around me. In fact, it's interesting that you brought that up, because earlier today, my grandmother came to me and she was reminding me about when she crossed over. And it was really difficult because even though I felt so blessed to be one of the last people to like literally be sitting with her, as she, she didn't cross over then, but she never really came back. She was dipping in and out of like consciousness, comas, and a lot of things were happening with her for a long time. She was in remission and she was sick, and it just went on for a really long time. And it's so funny. I never put this together until right now. Thanks, Grandma. So my grandma's birthday is July 7th, 1930. And her number comes out to 13, which is the number of the witch, the number of the divine feminine, but also when you add them together, it's the number 4, which is about balance. And she was so upset because when she realized that she wasn't going to get better, She wanted to at least make it to her 70th birthday, because 777, it would have been the year, 2000, because she was born in 1930, which is the number 13. And she was just this witchy, magical creature. But everybody thought she was crazy and had her on medications. They said, Grandma has a chemical imbalance. She thinks the radio is talking to her. She thinks she hears voices. She had no idea. She had no one to teach her, no one to tell her. That's why I was meant to do this. That's why I was meant to come on here and help other people like myself, like my grandma. There are so many magical people in my family, in my blood and bone, but I can't make them see who they are. So I had to walk away from all of them completely. My childhood friends, everybody. It was heartbreaking. It was really difficult. But I'm so grateful that I've had all of these experiences, because that happened with my grandmother. She died in 2000, so 25 years ago. And I was 27 or 28 at the time. I think I was 28. And I just remember that I sat with her forever, hoping that she would wake up. And my grandpa was like, you got to catch a flight in the morning. I'm from Chicago, but I was living in LA at the time. And I said, I can't leave her. I can't leave her. And he's like, she may never wake up again. And he's like, what, are you going to move in? And I was like, I don't know. I'm like, but I can't leave her. Because one minute we were at my cousin's wedding and we were like holding hands at his ceremony. And she just kept looking at me. It's like I knew she knew. It's like she knew. She just knew. The last few days, because she died 4 days like after I left, less than a week after the wedding. But she was so magical. She just had this aura about her. It's almost like she finally was just like, I'm not going to hide anything. I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm just going to say what I want, be who I am. It was really magical. I felt really blessed to have these experiences with my very witchy grandmother, who never was allowed, I'm starting to get upset, who was never allowed to be herself. She didn't even know what that was. She chain smoked and drank black coffee all day long, and she was an empath. Can you imagine? My heart is breaking right now for the light workers and the sensitives that don't hide anymore. You don't have to hide, you guys. You don't have to hide. You need to come forward and show the world who you are. We need you now more than ever. This Scorpio energy is about transformation and rebirth. We are in the year of the snake, which is transformation and rebirth. And we're just little under 3 months shy of going into the year of the horse, which is about freedom. So we've got just about 3 more months to really release and let go of all the bullshit. Use the Scorpio energy to help you move forward, to help you purge, to become the phoenix rising out of the ashes, to say, this is who I am. Love it or leave it. I hope you love it. But if you don't, I'm going to leave you, because I don't want to be around this energy. Any of you who are dreading holidays, impending holidays, if you watch this in real time, we are a week away from tomorrow is a week from tomorrow is American Thanksgiving, which I've just decided to call Gratitude Day, because they're going to celebrate no matter what. So I celebrate with them, but it's Gratitude Day for me. And I'm feeling a different energy around this Gratitude Day. Honestly, I am so thankful. We are so blessed, you guys. We really are. There are so many energies and entities looking out for us. Break free of that third dimensional mold. It doesn't fucking exist. It was literally created to control us. Literally. Absolutely. Without doubt. Organized religion and political parties were put in place to keep us from uniting to keep the divide going. There are a lot of people in, I'm American. There are a lot of people in my country that want another civil war. And I don't know what the fuck they're smoking, because I think because the sitting American president won again, I think people believe that if we had a civil war, that they would win again and bring slavery back and bring, like, I mean, you know, but it's not going to happen. We've seen so many genocides. We have seen so many wars, and so many of us in this tribe. And if you found yourself here, whenever you watch this, they're always timeless. But if you found yourself here, you are a powerful light worker. You have a path, you have a purpose. Your birth chart is the roadmap to your destiny. Listen to how do you guys hear that? That's from the flames, from the candles. It's like really intense. I don't have any lights on in here. It's almost like there's like this vibration happening. And I didn't really think about it until now, but the Mona Lisa, that's like really powerful as well with this energy. So we're going to pull some cards. We're going to keep talking about what's happening. There's a major dynamic shift happening. There are more people who are here for good. There are more people who are here in the light. There are those who want the shadow to remain. The shadow is just a lesson. It's not an energy to be ruled by. Okay. Let's see. So Jared says, do you believe, hold on. Interesting. Okay, so it says, do you believe that your past modeling experience was pivotal in shaping who you've become as a person? Yes, but only because my weight went up and down a lot because I was an athlete and I was very short. And when I started modeling in the 80s and the 90s, it was very different. They didn't have the same kind of lenses and the cameras, everything. So because I was, 5'1", 5'2", and I say that because in high school I was really, really short, and then I started at the end of high school, and like to my early 20s, I grew to be almost 5'3", but I'm like 5'2" and 3/4. So it's just very interesting that you brought that up, because I feel like part of that experience I used to validate who I was. Ooh, when I looked down, I was 33, another angel number to work with. And when you think about it, it's like, that's what's happening right now. That's what's happening. The divine masculine is crumbling and the divine feminine is on the rise. But there are some of us that want it to be balanced. And then there's some of us, who are like, yeah, fuck men. And it's like, no. Just because it's like the patriarchy has been ruling for a long time, but there has also been times in history where women were more, even now there's cultures now that women have been revered. It's just different. It just changes from place to place, culture to culture. Think about it. We know now that, let's put it this way. Growing up the way that I did, my looks were important. I was told my looks were important. That I would literally go on auditions and they'd say, the camera loves your face, but it hates your body. So I had to stop modeling, acting, and singing because when I got to a point where I had like 18% body fat and I was still being fat shamed by like, you know, casting people, I was like, this is bullshit. I'm like, this is not how I want to be defined. And I think that was probably, you know, even when I was in high school, when I was a kid, I wanted, you know, to be with animals, take care of animals. But then I realized I couldn't be a doctor because I couldn't, you know, I was too sensitive to be a doctor. You know, I'm like, I couldn't cut into an animal, even if it was under anesthesia, you know, it's like not part of, you know, well, I remember finding out for the first time what I'd have to do. I was like, no, my tender little heart was like, my tender heart, something starts to bleed, right? From Wicked. Right? It's just, no. And then I didn't know where I fit in or where I belonged until I got into high school and joined the speech team. And I tried all the different areas in speech team in high school. And I remember one of my teachers, Mr. Vandenberg, I mean, he changed my life. Like literally, I was super suicidal my freshman year and just, I didn't know where I belonged, who I was, what I was. I always knew things before they happened. Just a lot of weird things. Anybody who knew me growing up always would say that I was different, or like when some people found out I was a medium, they're like, oh, that makes so much sense. They're like, that makes sense. I'm like, oh yeah. Or like when I would tell people I'm a telepathic medium, they're like, yeah, you used to call me out on my shit all the time. I'm like, you called yourself out on your shit. I just didn't understand what was happening. But over the years, it's interesting because, you know, they were like, oh, be on the debate team. So I tried the debate team, really liked that. And then I was like, I should be a lawyer. I'm like, I'd be a really good lawyer. Again, found out how much school was involved. I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. I was just not a big fan of school. And then as each thing progressed, it was like, before I knew it, I hit the fucking jackpot and found out that acting was my jam, but singing was my love. But the same thing. I could sing, but I had a different vocal. And I used to do these things, a lot of stuff that like Adele does, like the little, you know, tricks and trades. They're like, you know, don't do that. Cause I was in the Mariah era, you know what I mean? Like Celine Dion, and it's like where you want to be perfect and pitch perfect, and but I was more like I want to be Pat Benatar. And it was just interesting. And then before I knew it, it was like I'm gonna move to LA and be a star, but it didn't work out that way. I had a full ride offered to me from Northwestern, but I had to keep my grades up, and I ended up like fucking up senior year because I turned 18 when I was in December of my senior year, and like me and my family, we all kind of collectively blew my ride. That's another story for another day. But then I ended up working downtown Chicago as a receptionist, and and I worked in television for a television ad agency, which was one of the biggest at the time in the world. And I just started to like, you know, my life literally snowballed, and it went from that to I'm going to move to LA, and then I'm going to be a movie star. Because, you know, I had a moment, I had an aha moment when I was 22, and I was sitting around with my friends, and a lot of my childhood friends, we all worked downtown, a lot of us, and it was nothing against them. I love them all so much, but I just had one of those moments where I was looking around, and it was like the same people, the same bar, the same, and I was like, I'm gonna die here. I'm gonna be miserable. I just didn't see myself like married and having kids and all that. It's beautiful and I love it, you know. It's just that I just knew that I had a drive in my stomach that I couldn't explain to anybody. I was like, I just gotta get out of here. You know, I felt like George Bailey, where he's like, I just gotta get out of here or else I'm gonna bust. It's like that's exactly how I felt. I was like, I just gotta get the fuck out of here. And I always felt like I was crawling out of my skin, but I didn't understand like why I felt that way or what was going on. And then I moved to LA and everything changed after that, and then the rest is history. And I worked in television and did auditions, and I worked as a server and a bartender, and worked with and met a lot of famous people. And you know, you just start to realize like the more, honestly, the more I got to be around famous people, the more I realized that I did not actually want to be famous. And I believe that part of my story and why everything is going down the way it is right now is because I think in my other lives, I think I gave a lot of myself up front. And in this life, I feel like I wanted to learn a lot of things, but I wouldn't have been able to learn the things I've learned and progressed into who I am today, having this channel, doing this with you right now, if I hadn't gone through all those different lifetimes. You know what I mean? In this lifetime, each decade, I'm 53, going to be 54 in December. And I, looking back on it, I realized like literally like each decade is just so amazing. And I learn so much. And you learn, and you have so many different lives in one life. But change is a choice. I said that recently in one of the shorts, you know, where I realize now I have to be who I need to be. I really need to be who I need to be. Um, and I've always known at a very young age I was going to be very, very wealthy, and I've always known I was going to be famous. And over the years, I've, you know, tried to talk myself out of it, back myself out of it, because I just don't want it, especially because I was very blessed to have a lot of intimate conversations with very famous people or like very well-known people, whether politically or singers, actors, well, musicians, even comedians. But one of my most fragile, most beautiful moments was with Keanu Reeves. And when all I wanted to do was get a cigarette from him, and my husband at the time was very good friends with him. He had just come off tour with him for 6 weeks straight, and they were like BFFs the whole time. And it was very bizarre because when I met him, he literally like jumped over a couch and like kind of picked me up and hugged me, and he's like kind of gave me a kiss on the cheek, and was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to meet you." And I was like, I had a fucking poster of you on my wall with lip gloss marks on it. I'm like, what just happened? It was so crazy. It was so surreal because even though I've been around them, it was a little different in that scenario because it happened kind of last minute and it was kind of nuts. But anyway, so I met him when we were at the Tonight Show. That's when Jay Leno was still on the Tonight Show in the green room. And I was having this very surreal moment because it was my ex-husband, Keanu, George Clooney, and Jay Leno. And I was like, what is this? Is like, I'm like, what? I'm like, who am I? Like, what is happening right now? It was so, so weird. And then after they played the Tonight Show, then they were playing at the Key Club. I think that's what it's called now. And we were in the back again. I don't remember if it was before or after the show, but we had spent enough time together that, you know, I felt comfortable enough that when I pulled up, I was still smoking at the time. And when I pulled up, the valet took my car, and I used to keep my cigarettes like in the console, like in between the seats, and I forgot to grab them. And the way that the valet is, it was all uphill and whatever. And I was like, son of a bitch. I'm like, you know, the way LA is set up, it's like you can't just like go and just get a pack of cigarettes. You may have to walk a minute, you know. And I didn't want to go into the club. It was so crowded. It was so fucking crazy. I didn't want to deal with that. So I was like, how do I get my cigarettes? Do I go to the valet? And my ex-husband was like, just ask Keanu. He smokes. He's like, oh, well, he smokes Reds because I was smoking Marlboro Lights at the time. He goes, he smokes Reds. Or I think I was smoking Camel Lights or something. And he goes, he smokes Marlboro Reds. But he goes, you used to smoke those. You like those. And I was like, yeah, you're right. You know, no big deal. So I go over and I was like, hey, Keanu, I'm like, can I get a cigarette from you? I'm like, I left my cigarettes in my car, and like the valet, I'm like, God knows where my car is. And he's like, oh, yeah, sure. And he like went to like pull it out. And then he like, it was almost like he went in slow motion and he kind of stopped for a second. And I'm like, are you okay? I'm like, what's wrong? Like, I look behind me, like maybe he saw somebody. I'm like, what's going on, you know? And then all of a sudden I saw like, and now realizing as a telepathic medium, I saw like his whole, like everything, like his whole life, his whole world. I like saw his existence in that essence, in that moment. And me being me, I'm like, I'm just gonna be funny. And I grabbed it from him slowly and I go, I'm just gonna smoke it. I'm not gonna fucking sell it on eBay. And he's like, oh my God. He's like, I'm so sorry. And I go, oh my God. I go, oh my God, it's right. I go, is that what your life is like? And he's like, every day. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, that sounds awful. He's like, yeah, but I'm really blessed and I have such a great life. And we were so young at the time. I mean, this was like 20, I don't know how many years ago. It has to have been 20 plus years ago. But I just remember like having that moment. And my ex-husband, like on the ride home, we were talking about it and he's like, oh yeah, he's like, he doesn't even own his own house. I'm like, what? This was back then. He's like, yeah, he kind of like, he bought houses for like I guess his sisters or sister and his mom or whatever. And he's like, yeah, he travels so much that he just like keeps rooms at their homes or whatever. And I was like, wow, that's fucking crazy. I'm like, that's so crazy. I'm like, that's so crazy. I'm like kind of cool. And I'm like, I guess that, I totally understand. But that was one of the moments that I really understood it. And then like over time, like I've got to know some really, really big celebrities and they would tell me the same kind of stories. And I remember I hung out with Billy Idol once and he told me the same thing. And I was like, I don't want to be famous. And I realized that that was a big reason why I haven't like gone into my, you know, what is this? Oh, hey, Queen Sarah. Oh, it says message retracted. Oh, well, you didn't have to retract your message. I saw something about Scorpio, but I was trying to finish my thought. Anyway, drink some water. But, we can't escape destiny. When our destiny comes calling, we don't always get another turn. And this Scorpio new moon is all about that. This is about taking your power back. This is about really going for your dreams. You guys, from now till the end of the year, whenever you watch this, always timeless. So always heed this same advice. But like from now to the end of the year, I want you guys to really focus on what's your dream? What's your dream? Everybody's got a dream. What's your dream? Right? And Pretty Woman, right? Because like everybody comes to LA for their dream. I went to LA for my dream. But I realized more and more that I was there, that I was like, this is a fucking cesspool of craziness. And then I moved into politics and I realized it was the same cesspool of craziness. And then I realized that it was all smoke and mirrors and there was so much bullshit and fakery and fuckery. And I was like, this is nutty cuckoo and I don't want to be any part of this world. Cut to more depression, wanting to kill myself. What did you say, Queen Sarah? You can rewrite what you wrote. I'm sorry, honey. I just, not to be a dick, I don't mean the way it's gonna sound. My moon's in Scorpio, and the Scorpio moon just came in, and I'm a triple Sag, and that's coming in too. So I just say it like it is, but with love. But when I'm on a thought and I'm talking or channeling, like I can't like have side conversations. I'll get to you. But welcome here. You're all welcome. Everyone's welcome. All are welcome. No, this is a closed container of awesomeness. There's any dark energies, they're not allowed to stay. Michael's got our back. But yeah, for some reason, maybe somebody new had to hear my story. And I apologize for the all-stars who've heard my story so many times. They're like, what? I'm like waking up from their like nap. They're like, what did she say? Tell me when the reading part comes in. Well, that's about to come in right now. But for real, it's like it took me years to become this, but this is my path. Everybody's path is different. And I remember when I was living in LA and I was having this awesome house party. And I remember looking around the room and I'm like, I have the most beautiful, coolest friends. I'm like, I love this place. I love my house. I was just like having that moment of like gratitude. And I'm like, my life is just bitching. And later on that night, after the party died down and friends and we were sitting around smoking some weed. And I literally said to my friends, I'm like, I don't think I'm going to be famous till I'm like 55. And it was so fucking random. But looking back at it now, it made me realize I'm like, it wasn't random though. I was like seeing pieces. It's like I would get fucked up or like talk to people and things were coming in, but I didn't understand what the messages were. So I want you to be more receptive when things come in, but also be mindful of like what you're listening to. If there's ever any voice that's negative or mean or talking to you in any awful way, that is not you. Okay. That's some other voice that was co-created. It could be, from dark forces. I don't know. It's like whatever you believe in, it really is personal. It's like whatever you believe in. Um, but I've had different experiences with different things. And what I have found over the years is that we always come back to our first love. And my first love was always music. And I know that it's waiting out there for me. But when I started acting, everybody was like, "You're an actor. You should be an actor." Then I started, I would do these fun lip sync things. And then I started like entering lip sync contests and all that. So that's kind of why I started Lula's Labyrinth, because I wanted to do that kind of stuff again. But over the last few years, I've been writing music again. I've been playing piano again. I've been, doing all these things. And I know that certain changes and shifts have to happen. And Spirit showed me, they're like, "Do you not understand? Like, this is your window." They're like, all of us have a window, right? Depending on your sign or whatever, like you may be going through different things. Mercury's in retrograde right now. Actually, many planets are in retrograde right now. But when Spirit calls to us and says, "This is your time," then it's your time. And I feel like for all of us, it's our time. It's our time to shine. And we've got to get out of our heads. We've got to get out of our own way so that we can really become who we were meant to be. I saw something recently where people were like, this person's like, "How can people be making content and comedians and movies, like there's wars happening all over the world, nobody cares?" It's like, no, we care. We pray. We love. I light candles every day, all day long, sending peace and love to the planet and the universe all day long. But we cannot sit in vigil and fucking depression and tears. That is not going to get us anywhere. We have to keep the vibration high. We have to get out of our mind, the muggle mind, that bullshit third dimensional fucking "this is who you are and you're limited." It's like unlimited, right? Like we are unlimited. We can be anything we want to be. You can be anything you want to be. And remember that everything you do has a positive and sometimes a not so positive effect. It just depends. So I want to get into this. Let's see. Ooh, I forgot I took the cards out. I'm like, it was lighter than I thought. So we're going to work with the Mind Body Makeover deck and the Practical Witches spell deck. Okay, so what do we see here? So Queen Sarah was sleepless last night. Okay. And thank you, Jared. I hope we answered your questions. And there is something they're showing me on the calendar. So give me a second because I want to see what they're okay. So if you guys didn't write it down, write down, these are the angel numbers they want us to work with: 1158, 1713, and 3333. Oh, they said it's time to confront our fears, emotions, and desires and dreams. Okay, there's no more running away. And fear is a man-made construct. And I say man-made, right? Because this is right now we're in this transformation rebirth energy. We're the phoenix rising out of the ashes. They don't want us to win. They don't want good things to happen, you know? Why do you think like things will only get to a certain point? One of the other reasons why I stopped auditioning was I couldn't take the rejection anymore. And usually because the rejection was like ridiculous things where I'm like, well, you know what? I can't grow a foot. So I'm short. I'm like, what do you want me to do? And it's just like the craziest things. And they're like, and I was, trying to act and model during the waif era. I mean, I love you, Kate Moss, but she fucking, I mean, it's not it's just her, you know what I mean? But I'm just saying, like, it was definitely like, now it's a lot different. It's a lot different. But it does get a little disheartening when you're always like the second choice, you know, or, you know, I'd go on 4 or 5 auditions, you know, these callbacks, and then you don't get it. And then you're like, holy shit, my life's going to change. Holy shit. And you want it, and you're believing it, and you're believing it. Like, I mean, I would tell people, I'm like, oh, I've got this. I got this, dude. I know it. I got it. I got it. I got it, you know, and then I wouldn't get it. And I feel, and it was almost more like the disappointment from my own family and friends, where I was um, like they felt sorry for me. Like they're just like, is she just going to keep living like this? Thanks, Jared. Oh my gosh. You know what is so interesting that you said that is, I am. And that's part of, when Sagittarius season comes in, I've got like all these, I've been kind of collecting different hair colors to see like what I wanted to wear when I was going to wear it. And so I'm back, but yeah, it's definitely been a struggle. You know, when you've been sexualized the way I was my whole life, it just, you become a different person. And I needed to like undo all that. I needed to take the makeup off. I needed to take the nails off. I needed to go back to my natural and like feel beautiful and special in my skin. I needed to grow these channels and become who I was again, and show the world like it's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to just, you know, throw your hair up in a bun and have fun and act anyway. You know, it's okay to, you know, it's just all the way around. It's okay. There are no limitations. You don't have to be perfect. They kept trying to put us in these like, you know, you want to be perfect. It actually makes me sad. If you get plastic surgery because you want to look different, you know, more power to you, you know. But what upsets me, and I've said this before and I will continue to say this, it upsets me when people do all this shit to their face, their bodies, to try and be perfect or be pretty or fit in. And I'm just like, you are perfect and beautiful just the way you are. And, you know, I came across this show I didn't even know existed. Did you guys know that there's a show? It's like a reality show about people who got work done that regret it. I couldn't watch more than like, I don't even know how much I watched. I was crying so fucking hard. I was crying so hard because it made me so sad that they can't take that back. They can try and go back to looking the way that they used to look, but they're never gonna like be them, like they're never gonna know what it's like to just be themselves and age naturally. And, you know, I may not be perfect or, you know, whatever, but I'm like, I love myself for being who I am. And it's taken me 53 years to get here. And Spirit told me yesterday, they're like, you're a millionaire. They're like, you have $7,144,000 in your bank account. And I was like, I'm a millionaire. And I've been saying that. I've been saying I'm a millionaire. I'm famous. I'm and what was the one mantra, Spirit? I forget it, but it was like, just for being myself. And not like, oh, I want to be famous. It's not about that. It's about, back then, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know who I was or what. So everyone told me, oh, you're a really good actor. Oh, you're really beautiful. Oh, you blah, blah, blah. This is what you should be doing. Why are you wasting your time doing this? Go do this, go do this, go do this. So I kept trying to do it, kept trying to do it. And it wasn't working. I would have been in the 27 club for fucking sure. For sure. For sure. If I became famous, like I moved to LA when I was 23. If I became famous in my 20s, I would have been just like Britney. I mean, I love her. She's a Sag like me. Because she is so magical too. She's very, very gifted. She's very touched, but they put her on medications, fucked with her mind. I mean, you know what I mean? Like all these horrible things. And mind control is a very, very real thing. So most of us are starting to realize that they can't control us anymore. And these rich oligarchy people, they have been paying each other off, and they've been doing these things for years, but they're not realizing that that shit don't work no more. And shit rolls downhill. And karma's very fucking real. And she's been rolling her sleeves up for years. She's so ready for this. We are going to watch that all of this shit go tumbling down. We're going to watch it one by one, bit by bit, piece by piece. We are going to see a lot of shit. Mark my words. So just fear doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. You can do whatever you want to do. Just keep telling yourself, okay? So let's go into these. So the Mind Body Makeover, what I love about this deck is it has two sides to the card. Let me move these so I don't burn myself. Hold on. Okay. So we have the top and the bottom. Now these cards are based on our ego, okay? So it's in the monkey mind. So this is what our minds are telling us. I'm not smart enough to succeed. So there's somebody in this group who feels right now that they're not smart enough to succeed. And I'm hearing for some of you, like maybe you didn't finish school, whether it was high school, college, maybe you've never had an education, maybe you were homeschooled, maybe, you know, but I'm getting this, that for some of you, you feel as if because you don't have these credentials. Do you know, look in history, some of the most famous billionaires and rich people in the world, a lot of them never went to school, or they very limited. So, you know, don't let that be a deterrent for you, because if you're here right now, you're extremely gifted and you are smart. So don't do that to yourself. And most likely you had somebody, I'm getting the vibe from spirit that you know, I know for myself, I had the same thing, right? Like the naysayers. And remember, the people who talk shit and the people who say that you can't do something are the people who aren't strong enough to do it themselves. And so it's a lot easier to say that you're not going to do it or you can't do it because they can't or they won't ever. So they want you to they don't want you to, because if you do, then they have to know that it's real, right? Then they have to accept, because I know, you know, I'd get oh, you didn't get the part, you know, but I swear I can feel them. And I was probably right. Like that they secretly were like, you know what I mean? That's when you realize those are not your fucking people. They're not looking out for you. So this deck has all different like sections, and this one is healthy self-esteem. What's that number? I should put my glasses on. I think it's number 6. And it says, when I balance my creativity with discipline and flexibility, I always succeed. So this is for all of us, you guys. Whether you're an artist, whether you know, like whoever you are or whatever you want to be, I get the vibe like spirit is trying to tell us right now, like hone your craft. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit. It's time to hone your craft. Now listen, you guys know I love my cannabis. You know I love my cannabis. But spirit told me the other day, they're like, you gotta, you know, you gotta start getting some tinctures, making some tinctures, because if you want to sing again, you can't smoke. Now, my voice sounds cool from smoking, but like if I want to do musical theater, or if I want to like really, you know, I was watching this interview with Ariana Grande, and she was just talking about like how much work she had to, you know, she's like, it's a lot different from going from being a pop star to singing opera and musical theater. She's like, it's a completely different thing. She's like, I had to train. And she's like, I had to train over and over and over and over and over, so that when I got to the set, because a lot of you guys, if you don't know this, when they filmed Wicked, they filmed it live. So, you know, if they were having a good scene or a good take, they needed to rely on each other to be able to hit those notes, or to be able, you know, of course they could redo it again and they would be kind to each other because they know that they're human and all that. But she said this was a whole new thing to her. So it's like she had to be acting and singing really difficult, you know, songs and very high notes. And, you know, with, you know, also acting and being in costume. And I mean, it's a lot. I've done it. I've done musical theater, and people don't realize it is a lot. And then you have to, you know, sometimes you have like seconds. I worked in runway too, you know, where you've got like a very short window to change your clothes. Sometimes I remember one time I was working on this runway show where I literally had to get my model into their outfit in like 35 seconds. It was crazy. It was fucking crazy. I've not, I mean, when it was done, it was awesome, but it was so nerve-wracking. So it's like when you're going to record and you're going to do all that, and you have all these people who are relying on you, not just the cast, but like, obviously the director and the lighting people and the boom and the everybody, it's a lot. So she said, I couldn't like get lost in my head about whether I was going to hit that note or whether she's like, these weren't my songs. These were, I had to learn it. So she said the discipline that it took was intense. But see, they're saying right there, but she loved it because it was what she wanted to do. It was her dream role of her lifetime. So she was going to put the discipline in. But then, of course, I'm sure with the flexibility, right? Like, you're going to have days off. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, I just have to have chocolate. But I remember there were times when I was doing, even with these readings with you guys, like I don't eat certain foods for days before I go live like this, because I'm channeling so many energies and entities from all over the universe. But then I'm also here and you guys are here and people are popping in and popping out, and I'm reading, and it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. But it's taken me years to do this. A lot of discipline, a lot of being alone, a lot of like going inward and connecting with myself and facing my fears and facing my demons. And now it's like, I sat with spirit and I said, I don't even know what I want anymore. They're like, you know what you want. And I'm like, no, I really don't know. I don't really know what I want. I'm like, they're like, you know what you want. And then it was as if my phone became like a jukebox, and my Pandora shuffle was just like playing like song after song after, like, seriously, you guys, like 5 or 7 songs for sure in a row that were like my songs I used to sing when I was warming up before I used to sing live. And it was like, spirit was like, you know who you are. You know what you want. You know who you are. You know what you want. You're just afraid to go get it. You're afraid to not, you're afraid to be seen. You're afraid to be famous. You're afraid of, what people will think of you. You're afraid of being judged. You're afraid of being made fun of. And I was like, I'm not afraid of those things anymore. They're like, then do it. And I started to realize the more I would do things, the more I would record things, the more I put myself out there, the more I'm like, if I'm having a creative moment, I'm like, I want to put it out. I want to share it with the world. Everybody has their own thing. What's your dream? Everybody has a dream. What's your dream? What do you want to do? What's your path? What's your purpose? A lot of times they align together. I realize that I'm kind of an oddity, because sometimes I like to just like make stuff up, and I realize I'm like, some people might find that interesting. Sometimes I do like kind of like a rap, like things just like come out like my witch. I'll just start rhyming, and you know, and spirit's like, record it, record it. I'm like, no, they're like, record it. So I started getting better about that. And then I started to get stronger and stronger. And then recently, I didn't even realize how many things I had created, whether vocally or stories or whatever. And I just went back and listened to a bunch of them, and I was laughing. I was like, oh, that was interesting, or that was fun, or that was cool, or no. I'm like, And I realized, I'm like, I'm just an artist and I don't need to explain myself to anybody. You don't need to explain yourself to anybody. That's the whole point. You don't need to fit into a box. You don't need to be something somebody wants you to be. Just be. And you may change from moment to moment. I change all the time. I had friends who would say, I feel like I have whiplash being friends with you, because it's like 1 minute you're doing this, the next minute you're doing that. Or they'd be like, why can't you stay at a job? Like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. And I'm going to keep saying it until you believe it. You're beautiful and you're magical just the way you are. I wanted to bring in a big bright light today, because there was so many cool things going on. And they were like, no, we're exactly where we're supposed to be. Like, all is well. So don't try to control things either. And don't try to control your creativity. Let it be what it is. And remember, you're not going to put everything out there. You think everything I sing and write and create it's like, of course they're duds. They're supposed to be. You're supposed to fail and get back up, and fail and get back up, and fail and get back up. That is part of being human. But if you found yourself here, you are a light worker. You're here to bring light and love and sunshine and happiness and joy to the planet, and to remind people to be who they are. Not this bullshit of who we should be or who people tell us we are. Who are you, really? All right, let's see if we have any more cards that want to come out. And feel free, if you have, now is the time, if you want to ask any questions, feel free to ask questions from Spirit, from the deck. So healthy self-esteem 6. So it's about like, you know, because there's a big difference between ego. One of my favorite things that I ever heard, and so many gurus and spiritual teachers use it, is ego is is it the acronym? Is that the word? For edging God out. I don't know if it's acronym, because I think acronym is when you move the letters around, but you know what I'm talking about. So it's like ego stands for edging God out, goddess, you know, but basically it's like edging out the divine. It's saying that you think you know better. But remember that before we came over here, we all co-created this whole fucking show and this planet and all these things. And, you know, why do you think that archaeologists are finding, you know, these structures from 27,000 years ago, and they're like, nothing could have created this but a laser. There's nothing back then that would have, there's nothing that what we were told from cavemen and all that bullshit. It's such bullshit. When I looked down, it was 111, and then it was 111.10. Ah, I love it. 11:11. The angels are here, right? So, and those of you who don't know, I'm an earth angel, and I have no problem saying that. And it might freak people out to hear that, or they might be like, what? You know, where are your wings? But I know that I needed to know who I was 100 fucking percent before I could put myself out there fully to the world. And I had to rub shoulders with very, very wealthy, well-to-do, well-known political and famous, you know, people. That was like part of it. I needed to have that experience because I was groomed to believe that for me to be successful was, you know, I needed to make it, you know, like I better make it, because if I don't do this, what else am I going to do? You know, even most recently, one of my friends, and I know that he's just being like funny and stuff, but like I had to get real with him about it because he was like, "Are you crazy?" He's like, you know, if I were you, he's like, if I look like you, he's like, I'd be all dolled up and I'd be dressing hot and finding myself a rich old man in his 80s and waiting for him to knock off and just inherit his money. He's like, my God, he's like, why don't you do that? I'm like, yeah, I could do that. I said, but that's not who I am. I said, that would be the easy way out. I'm like, that's not, I'm like, why would I do that? I said, I don't want to do that. It's not part of who I am. You know, we all have a path. We all have a purpose. If I had given in, you know, I had one situation once where I was introduced to this much older man who was actually beautiful. I was in my early 20s. I was 23, and I think he was probably my age now. So he was like 30 years older than me, but he was very good looking, in shape, and he was worth like $25 million. And back then, you know, I mean, even now that's a lot, but like back then, that's before everybody became a millionaire. You know what I mean? So it was like, wow, you know, in like the 90s, it was like 1995, and it was 30 years ago. And I really liked him. I really liked him. And he was so wonderful. And I know that he would have like given me the world. And at the end of one of our dates, he said, you know, if you'd let me, he's like, I will give you, you know, whatever. And I know I'm much older than you and blah, 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 blah. And he's like, but I'll take really good care of you. And I thought to myself, if I do this, I'm going down a completely different path. And then I was shown his gorgeous, massive estate in Malibu, like on a cliff, like overlooking the water. And I was like, oh my gosh, horse farm. Like I could have gone that way. The irony is I probably still would have become who I am right now. I just would have taken a different tack. You know what I mean? But I chose the harder path. Isn't that funny how that is? I chose the harder path because something inside of me, it felt wrong to just let this man take care of me and just like, I'm like, so what would I be, a kept woman? Like I was so young. And of course now, there's been times, of course, I'm like, why? He was so good looking. He was so, and he wasn't like, even when like he kissed me, it's like, not like he was like, smelly or like, nothing like, and I mean that because like, they say that if someone's like not your right person, they smell to you, even if they smell really good and they just brushed their teeth or whatever. It's like, it was like, we definitely had a connection, but I don't know. I just thought I can't give it up. Like, I can't just like give up my life and give up like my future, basically. It just didn't feel right. So don't settle, you guys. Even if it's the easier path, don't do it because it will become harder later. Like, who knows? Like, it may have been that way, but maybe he would have like had an ex and like had kids and they hated me and like maybe his kids were older than me. I mean, I don't know, it's like you never know, but it's about going after our dreams, not somebody else's dream, right? So here's the next card, and this one is from, my flashlight's going out. Let's see, I'll do this over here. This one is from Healthy Goals number 3, which is half of 6. That's interesting. So in the negative space, so to speak, I'm going to see if this will work if I bring it up a little bit. Oh man, it's really going out. Screw this. I'm going to use my I'm going to use my candle. All right, here we go. Ah, that's better, kind of. Can you guys see it? The cameras on here are not the best. I wonder if it'll let me let me see if it'll let me put the, I'm trying to see if I can put the camera on. Oh, lighting. Will that help? Oh, it helped a little. Oh, that's good. Helped a little bit. Okay. So if people, it's also the coloring. Whoever made these cards, like, I appreciate what they were trying to do, but it's like not easy to read. If people really knew me, they wouldn't respect me. What? Who's saying that? If people really knew me, they wouldn't respect me. Okay, listen. We are not the sum of all of our deeds, okay? We've all done shit that we're not fucking proud of. I've done more things than it would take me hours to tell you all the things that I was embarrassed about or, whatever. And I could say I regret, but I don't regret it because it was part of my path and part of like who I needed to become and who I needed to be, like I just said. So don't, if you're having that, whoever this is for, somebody pulled this card. Spirit wants you to get that out of your head right now. See what I mean about the false matrix bullshit? Somebody spoon-fed that to you. Somebody said that. Somebody said, you're not worth this or you're not worth that. Well, they're wrong. Healthy goals number 3. The upright, the healthy thing is my emotional fulfillment and satisfaction radiates to everyone around me. So I don't even want you guys to like think about the negative stuff. I just want you to think of the positive. And I know that some people would say that's kind of a cop-out, right? But it's not. Don't keep going there. That's the thing. We can all do it, right? We get into what they call the monkey mind because we want, we think we don't deserve it, or we think, these cards are so cute and clever, but the shape makes me want to punch things. I can tell the Scorpio moon is here because I am such a loving light being, but I can always feel when this, my patience is definitely not as good as when I'm in other signs, you know what I mean? All right, sorry about that. Especially when we're live, I always try to like not do that. Here we go. I just want you to be able to read them because they're important. So let's put those together. So we've got healthy self-esteem and we've got healthy goals. So exactly what we were talking about is changing the trajectory of our path individually, our path and our purpose. And in order to do that, We have to connect a healthy self-esteem with healthy goals. And also, I mean, you have to think about it too. Like, for instance, you want to be a veterinarian. Well, you're not going to be a veterinarian tomorrow. You have to go to school. You know what I mean? Like, you have to learn. You have to, like, that's part of it. You have to. You can't just willy-nilly go, go to YouTube University and start cutting up animals. You're not going to do that, right? You're going to make sure that you do it properly and all that good stuff. Well, it's like anything else. I mean, now, mind you, some people have a natural ability, right? Like, it might not be my perfect voice, but if I had to go into audition for something or whatever, I'm still a singer. It may not be my most perfect, because I don't practice like I used to. I still eat, dark chocolate and like my cannabis, like to smoke my cannabis. So, that stuff affects my vocal cords. It affects the way I sing. That's why we were talking about earlier about the discipline. So when you're working, you're disciplined. And then when you're not working, right, like you take a few days off or the holidays and you're like, oh, I'm going to have a little, extra piece of pie. I'm going to have that chocolate because I don't have to sing for, another month, or whatever. And then you get to know your body too and what your body can and can't handle. And then there's quick tricks, right, with everything. But same with writing a book. It takes a minute to write a book. And then it takes a while to get it out there. And then it takes a while to get it published. And then you have to, you know what I mean? It's like everything has a process. So don't give up. And don't let something that's long-term deter you. Like her or not like her, my heart broke when I saw this headline and it said, it showed a picture of Kim Kardashian crying on her reality show that she didn't pass the bar. And she's like, this is like the one thing, like, she's like, she wants to do this for herself, but also for her dad. Like, she wants to make her dad proud. Her dad was the famous lawyer on the O.J. Simpson case, Robert Kardashian, and he passed away many moons ago. And, it's like, she's like, I've never worked so hard for anything in my life. And it's like, she's like, I'm not giving up, but that's cool because that's the whole point. You don't want to give up. So you don't pass. Go and take it again. Do it again, do it again, do it again, right? Like, until you're ready. And sometimes it's like we were talking about earlier when Ariana was saying, like, she had to practice and get the songs nailed down so tight so that when she got into the actual recording with everybody and the acting part, she can just naturally do it. She didn't have to think about it. Her voice and her whole body, it, muscle memory, the whole thing, like, it knew where it had to go. It heard the music. It knew the vocal had to go here, It takes time. It takes practice. It takes discipline. I love that for this new moon in Scorpio reading, we're really focusing on creativity. We're focusing on literally like shifting our lives. And it says, my emotional fulfillment and satisfaction radiates to everyone around me. So if that is a true statement, which I pray it is, think about when it's in the opposite, then that's what people feel. That you don't feel good enough. You don't feel it. But you are. You're so magical. This message is for all of us from Spirit. Like, we're so magical. If we could only see, they're like showing me, they're like, if we could only see what they see, like, and that this is just temporary. And that we've lived many lives. And for some of us, we'll keep living more. I have a feeling either this is my last year on earth ever and like whatever, or it's like for a really long time. Because I feel like I lived a lot of lifetimes back to back. And it's like anything else, like you need a vacation. And there's been many times over the last decade when I've been coming through my awakening. Well, actually, it's been 13 years, but definitely in the last 10 where I've been like, I'm never coming back, man. Please tell me I don't have to come back here. But now that it's getting better again and I can feel that we're shifting, I know it seems on the outside like it's getting worse, but it's not, you guys. It really is getting better. It is getting better because shit does have to get worse before it gets better. And stuff will be revealed and stuff is going to come out. It's just, remember that it's in divine timing. Always remember that. It's in divine timing. Okay, so the negative thought is, oh, and this is coming from Healthy love, one. Oh, that's so perfect, right? Because loving ourselves is where we start. So in the negative mindset, we say, if I'm needed, I feel loved, appreciated, and accepted. Oh, I know that feeling, right? Like you're, you know, we want to feel like we belong. If you found yourself here, you're a light worker. You've probably always felt like an outcast of some kind or different, or, and I'm so glad you found yourself here. We love you so much. You're welcome here. And this is a safe space. And we all know we've all been here. We're like the island of misfit toys over here. And we understand that, we haven't always been accepted for who we are. We've been told to, not be ourselves or, wear a mask and be different. And maybe you have that special friend or luckily, hopefully more than one person that you could be yourself with. I realized just recently that I'm just so blessed. It's taken me years to renegotiate my life and have a brand new like set of friends and a brand new like everything in my life has changed dramatically. And I realized recently that I was somebody who grew up with a lot of people and we all like big groups of friends and we all stayed friends. And then we kind of lost touch for about 10 years. And then Facebook came in and then we all kind of like found each other again. But it was weird. It was like still being in high school and I was like, we're grown. Like, do we even care? Like, why are we, it was just so bizarre to me. Like the whole thing was kind of weird. And not in a weird, bad, like just like an interesting, like, not many people that happens to, right? Like unless you stay in the same town and go to work in the same town or whatever, it's like most people, they go off to school and then they get jobs and then they move away and, so it's like, it's a very different experience. Hello, welcome. Thanks for the thumbs up. Yeah, thanks you guys. The thumbs up are always really good. Thumbs up, commenting, sharing, subscribing. Um, yeah, so we've all been going through such tense, hardcore situations individually. And now we're seeing collectively that it's important to love ourselves first. It's important to take care of ourselves first. It's important to go after our dreams. That doesn't mean we hurt others or step on others on the way. It means that, we help others when and where we can, right? Because it's really good for all of us to help each other. When I'm out in public, I do everything in my power to kind of read the room when I'm in stores or running errands, whatever I'm doing. And if I see somebody who looks sad or depressed or, I'll tell you, being a telepathic medium, I hardly ever go out. But when I do, if I come across somebody who I can feel that they're very suicidal or they're feeling really low, I'll ask their higher self to give me something I could say to them that would like lift their day or, and I can't tell you how many times people have said, wow, you like totally turned my day around. Thank you so much. Or, and I've literally had people say I was going to kill myself today. And I'm like, oh my gosh, but spirit led me to them. And I'm like, I've been there too. I'm like, I've tried to kill myself 7 times, and we go through cycles of 7. My life path number is 7. But it took me a while. I never thought I would do it, but spirit literally had me sit down and like recall. And now it's so funny. There's 7 people watching. That's so interesting. Um, but they were, talking about how, you know, it's they wanted me to recall all the times I wanted to kill myself so that I could recognize why, like what was the root of it. And what I realized was that I never wanted to kill myself. I wanted to no longer live in the energy or the life or be around certain people or the job, like, and it was so easy. The answer was right there in front of me the whole time. I just had to pull myself out of it, out of that job, away from those people, out of that relationship, away from that family. But I realized recently, in recent years, that I only have one person in my life right now that I have known more than 20 years. Everybody else has been since I've come through my awakening and I've released, my past just because, it was very daunting. The more I was becoming who I actually am, the more they would tell me who they thought I was. And, they're like, what's wrong with you? Or, oh, you're going through a phase, or, oh, you're crazy. Or, I'm like, no, I just actually realized who and what I am. That's the difference. Therein lies the difference, is when we recognize and understand who we are. So we cannot let the naysayers, tell us who we are or who we were. When we pulled this card, it was like, we are not the sum of all of our deeds. We are not. We all deserve another chance, and there are some people in some situations where it's like, no, I can't give you another chance. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, no, I can't let you back in. And not even an I'm sorry, just I cannot let you back in. I've been talking about it recently, but one of my favorite sayings from Samantha from Sex and the City was, she's like, I love you, but I love me more. And there is nothing wrong with that. We need to love ourselves right now. It is so important to care about what we care about. When you wake up in the morning, I want you to do me a favor. Wake up, take in 3 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth, but in a very, because you're waking up, right? So more like you're breathing in the new day. Then think, whatever you believe in, God, spirit, goddess, creator, say, thank you for giving me another day. Thank you for blessing me with another day today. And I've been in that place where you're like, I don't want to breathe another day. I don't want to be here another day. But that's just because I wasn't living my true life. So take in those deep breaths, send the gratitude out into the universe, and keep speaking into the universe in the morning and at night when you go to sleep. Speak to the universe. And when you're speaking to the universe, you're really just rewiring your own brain. That's why Spirit had me write on a Post-it, I'm a millionaire. I have $7,144,000 in my bank account. And I keep saying it over and over and over. I'm like, I'm famous for just being myself, but for good reason. I have something to say. I have something to give. I've worked 50 plus years to get to this point, to share these pearls, and I'm still learning every day. And it's not an exact science. It's from my level of consciousness. It's from my understanding. It's from my connection with spirit. It's different for all of us. It's going to be the same for you. So I'm very excited for this card right now because it's titled Healthy Love 1. And I love that it says, if I'm needed, I feel loved, appreciated, and accepted. But the truth is, I now nurture others as much as I nurture myself. I am lovable even when I am not nurturing or giving someone something. Yeah, I mean, you can't give somebody something you don't have. And I think it's really gross, and I'm not judging. I'm just saying, like, it's just kind of a gross behavior when, think of it this way. If someone is saying something to you like, if you loved me, you'd do this, or if you love me, I know, I've said it, I've been there, I've done that. But when you hear it back, what are you really hearing? Me. You're not giving me what I want. That's the ego. So it's different if you're like, all day long it's about you and you just never help anybody. You know what I mean? That comes from a different place. But when you're nurturing yourself, you're, every day I do yoga stretches every day. I connect with my body. I connect with the breathing of the energy that's coming in and out of my avatar. This avatar is temporary. Our souls are forever. We never die. Our bodies die, but our souls never, ever die. And we go to different places, I've said this before, I've worked with entities that I don't even know what they are. I don't know. It's hard for me to explain it because there's nothing for me to compare it to because I've never seen it before. And I watch a lot of TV and a lot of movies. I just always thought that was like my addiction or whatever. And then I realized, no, it's like I've been studying humanity my whole life and trying to understand humanity and trying to understand like why we're here and what we're doing. And don't you love, speaking of the word love, don't you love that healthy love is in the middle? Because without love for yourself, you cannot give anything to anyone else. Have you ever heard RuPaul say, if you don't love yourself, honey, how the hell are you going to love anybody else? It's so true. By the way, I apologize if you hear the truck. It's like in the middle of the night here now. I mean, I started at 10:47 and it's 1:34, so it's got to be well after midnight. But I live off a freeway, and sometimes because there's the property's like really big and there's like lights everywhere. Oh, good morning, Jessica. Oh, Jessica's one of our all-stars. Welcome, Jessica. I almost texted you, dude, to be like, I'm going live, and I was like, you know what, if she's meant to be here, she'll show up naturally, and you did, so I love it. But anyway, but these semis, they like to like kind of idle here because they, you know, they feel safe. So it's fine. Like, it's no big deal. It is what it is. But so I apologize if you guys hear it kind of rattling in the background. So I'm feeling the urge to pull some, ooh, listen to that. We send them loving, healing energy wherever you are, whoever that's for, whatever that's for. Actually, they kind of sounded like they were pulling over here. Oh gosh, I hope that's not. I mean, just because part of my living here is I do a work trade. So I watch over the property. So like I will have to go out there. But you know what? If so, then it's meant to be. Anyway, let's see what I don't know. Do you want me to pull any more? I feel like 3 was good, but let me see if they want me to pull any more from the Mind Body Makeover. Nope, we were right the first time. So I'm getting the urge to pull a card. So the other deck that we're working with is the Practical Witches Pocket Guide. And even if you don't consider yourself a witch, or, you know, which, by the way, witches, we just come from the angel realm in my experience. So, you know, don't put too much into it. It's just a word. You know, I know that people, sorry, I just leaned in hard. I was trying to fix my heater. I know some people get like really like wrapped up in like how, hold on, I gotta get this going. But in my experience, the witches are just another form of an angel. And there's so many of us here, you know, we're earth angels, and we came here to bring humanity back to life, basically. So I'm feeling like they want me to pull 1 card per card. You know what I mean? So like an extension of each one. So let's see. Do we want to pull a card for when I balance my creativity with discipline? Oh, okay, this one just flew out. So I guess this is it. Here we go. So they have these really pretty, you see that's like a bee. Oh, I got to be careful because I moved the candles around. You know what? Actually, this might be better here. Can you guys see that better? So this is for everyday spells. Just like the other deck, each one has a different label on the top. Like this one says healing spells, you know. So this one is like an everyday spell, and it's got a bee on it. So you may want to work with the bee spirit animal. And oh yeah, I got to get my glasses on, my little grannies. I love that. I think that I could even possibly read this. And I'm going to bring this up here for you guys, but I got to move this back a little so I don't burn the card. So hold on. Oh, I forgot I put that Labrador right there. I'm like, what the hell is that? It's like literally, I couldn't see it. You know, it was just melting into the background. Okay. So Sacred Land Spirit Tree Spell. Oh, I love tree spells. Oh, this is going to be fun. Hold on. I don't want to just push that because it's like liquid wax there. Okay. So, I'm going to pull this back so you guys can get a screenshot. Actually, you know what I'll do? I'll put them in the, if you guys go to the community section, I'll put them in the community section so you guys can get a better look at them. Okay. Hold on. There's too many variables. There's too many things going, and it's so late. Jessica, are you working like a new swing shift or something that you're working? I don't even know your hours, or like, okay. I just don't want to burn the card. I know I'm taking forever. I'm so sorry. Okay. So it says planting 3 red flowers will keep tree or trespassers off property and help to allow the land to return to wildness and well-being. I suggest you choose from these beautiful red floral options. And so there you go. Sumac, poppies, wild roses, geraniums, or nastur. To heal and guard an ailing or endangered tree, try the old Celtic custom of tying a red ribbon or magical cord around the trunk and chanting, "Red for the sap blood inside the spirit tree. Every full moon I will retie a cord of magic around thee, so mote it be." Very powerful. So, and these are, you don't have to do these. They're just like little extra things, to go with them. That's cool, Jess. I'm so glad. I'm glad you jumped on. It's so nice to have you here. It's been, gosh, I mean, we haven't gone live in so long. Did I just pick up the book? Hold on. These decks, some of these decks, like, look at how freaking thick that is. It's so crazy. So let's see if we have one to go with the second healthy love. And I feel like we're going to do like a, ooh, this one jumped out too. I feel like we're going to do like a little culmination. I might actually, oh, healing spells. Yay. I miss you so much, dude. I miss you so much. I wonder, maybe I should go put the lights on. I don't have any lights on, that's why. Oh, this is that one. Oh, you guys, this is, oh my gosh. Speaking of, we were talking about plastic surgery. I'll definitely put a picture, and I think I may have this somewhere, like a really nice version of this. I took a cool picture of this. This is a really good preserving, like if you want, hold on, I had to sit down and come back. Instead of getting plastic surgery, these are the kind of things I try to tell people. I'm like, just take care of yourself. There's a reason why many witches appear ageless. They take good care of their skin and heightened the health of their complexion with a Venusian prescription for eternal youth. Combine these oils: 2 ounces sweet almond, 2 drops clary sage, 2 drops chamomile, 2 drops myrrh, 2 drops rosemary, and 2 drops geranium. Before you anoint your skin each night, utter this spell: Goddess of love, goddess of light, hear this prayer. Your youth and beauty eternal, please share, so mote it be. Rub the potion on your face and rinse off for healthy skin and a radiant glow. Another one that's really good is frankincense is like the miracle oil for your face. I'm serious. Like, I can tell when I'm not using certain oils on my face. I'm like, I'm the crypt keeper. You know what I mean? Like, I can really, really, really see it, especially because in the summer, I'm such a brat. I just don't really wear sunscreen, but I do wear a lot of frankincense oil and blends on my face and on my hands. And frankincense has a natural SPF in it. Ooh, look at that. The light just like popped up. Do you guys see that? Oh my gosh, this is for 3. Another one that just flew out. Ooh, a moon spell. Perfect with our moon reading. Moon spells. Okay, let's get in here and see what this one says. Oh, I love it. I love it. New Moon Floral Protection Charm. This potpourri is great for clearing the way for anything new in your life and planting spiritual seeds for new moon beginnings. You'll need the following fresh flowers: carnation, cyclamen, marigold, rose, and snapdragon. Place the flower petals in a bowl and then sprinkle them with a few drops of geranium, clove, and cinnamon oil. Place the mixture on the south point of your altar for the duration of a full lunar cycle. After a few moon cycles, you can sprinkle the flower petals in your garden, where their energy will continue to protect you and your loved ones. So here's my thing. I love this deck. It's adorable. I think I got it at like Marshall's or something. It was like one of those like random things where I'm like, what is this doing here? But I think spells are wonderful and they're fun, and I love like doing the ritual of it. I also believe that you can, like, what you believe comes true, which is what I was talking about earlier about talking yourself, like you need to rewire your brain to talk yourself into who you are. I just keep saying over and over, I'm a millionaire. I have $7,144,000 in my bank account. I'm famous for being myself. My life is made. You know, like I just keep saying certain things until my brain, then your brain has no other choice but to believe it. And then it just naturally things happen because you're elevating your energy and then things just start collecting to you. You know what I mean? Like your body and your mind and your soul, like really do become one and they believe it. And so it just happens. Oh, when I looked up, it was 144.44. That's really powerful. Oh my gosh. Do you guys want to ask any questions? It's so late and like I feel like I may even do something with this later to kind of correlate them because right now I feel like that's what's like these are under each one, but I feel like it's more than that. You know what I mean? There's probably more to it. It's just I'm kind of tired and I'm more in like let me see if they want to pull any more of the spell cards. Oh, welcome Netherlands. Namira, what a pretty name. I love your little tulips on your handle. You have such lovely energy. I love that area. I love the Netherlands. That whole well, I should say I was mostly in Amsterdam, but I did get around and you are most welcome. It's such a cool country. The architecture is unbelievable. Oh my gosh. And it's everything like being an American, like it's everything I wanted it to be, like the windmills, like the whole thing, like it just like served, you know what I mean? Like the tulips, the wooden shoes, like the whole thing. Although I will say this, I had a really hard time when I was in Amsterdam. The energy there is fucking crazy. There's definitely a portal in Amsterdam, like hands down. I remember when I came back from Europe because I traveled to I don't remember 5 countries, I think. And my friend was like, yeah, everybody like wants to go to Amsterdam, but they don't realize like there's such an energy there. And I said, they're like, what was your favorite? And I said, Paris. And they're like, really? I thought you would have said Amsterdam because you love to smoke weed and you can, drink there and smoke weed. I go, oh no, trust me, that part was awesome. I'm like, but what was upsetting was like, I said, I felt like I was in Vegas. I said, I felt like it was like the Vegas of Europe. In my experience, it felt like the Vegas of Europe, meaning like in America, in Las Vegas, Nevada, like pretty much anything goes, you know, like there's like hardly anything. I think the most illegal thing there is jaywalking, which is kind of funny, but not funny. You know what I mean? Like you can literally like get in trouble for like not going with the lights or something. I remember something like that, but it just upset me. It upset me when I went to the red light district. Oh my God, I couldn't believe it. There was a girl in the window that I'm telling you, she was 12, maybe. And I was like, no, that's not cool. You love to go to Amsterdam, all cultures. Yeah, I mean, like, I loved it, but at the same time, like, no, also, let me back up and tell you, I went like 25 years ago, so I haven't been in like 25 years. I haven't been to Europe. But when I was there, and also, you're a tourist, right? So, like, I'm cramming like a bunch of things into one. So, like, in like 2 or 3 days, I, went to Anne Frank's house, you know what I mean? So it's like going from one extreme to another, going into Anne Frank's house and like, being there and like crying and feeling all that energy. And then, on the opposite of that, like the red light district where it's like, prostitution and like they're like, prostituting teenage girls. It was just bizarre. It was so wild to me. At that time, I mean, I know very American and clothes, like, oh, I'm so sheltered, but seriously, it was. I mean, I never seen anything like that. I never experienced anything, and nothing against the culture because it's a beautiful culture. And you know, I loved so much of it, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it was also, it was just odd, because I'd been to so many different countries at that point and traveled around and I just had never, it was just really wild. Anyway, so there's that. But thank you for being here, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me see if Spirit wants me to pull any more cards before we bid adieu. Oh, it's worse? Oh, gosh. How could it be worse? It is wild. And let me tell you the other thing. There's the last thing. And again, not, it's beautiful. I want you guys to know it's beautiful culturally. Like there's so many awesome things. The food was delicious. The buildings, like everything's so cool. I loved it. But I also these guys tried to kidnap me. And I didn't realize until this other group of people saved me that they're like, don't you know that Amsterdam is like one of like the number one human trafficking like places in the world? And I was like, I did not know that. I was like, I did not know that. I mean, my friend, she didn't want me, she didn't drink and I drank, and she was like terrified of me going out by myself, you know, especially back then. I was like super like white blonde, you know, tan, red lips, fake nails, you know, always had my big boob, my water bra on, you know, like pushing my boobs up. Like, so, you know, going out by myself was not very smart, even though I'm like Southside Chicago Kelly through and through. Yeah. Yeah. Right, but it's the same with me, like America, right? Like, I mean, look at my country right now. I have no one to talk. I'm just telling you my experience. But no, yeah, it was pretty terrifying. It was pretty terrifying. This guy tried to roofie me, and if this woman hadn't saved me, like I don't know where I would have ended up or what would have happened. And that's not really your country, you know what I mean? Like I'm sure there's people from all over the world that are coming to your country to Amsterdam to do that, you know what I mean? Like, so it's not necessarily always the country itself that is causing, you know, whatever. But yeah, it is what it is. It's like I mean, I remember when I first went over to Europe and I was watching a commercial and the woman was naked taking a shower, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's naked. And my friend she's Belgian. She's like, because she's in the shower. I can't do her accent, but she's like, because she's in the shower. And I'm like, but you don't think that's kind of weird? And she's like, no. And I'm like, man, she goes, Americans are so repressed. She's like, we're just not like that. But anyway, but yeah, no, but I did love, like, let's put it this way. If you took out, if being an empath, being a telepathic empathic medium in Amsterdam was not super fun. But however, it was beautiful. It was cool. It feels like you're in a movie every like moment of it. I mean, the old cobblestone streets and the, you know, I mean, it was just like a little Venice. It was so cute. It was so cute. Speaking of little Venice, have you ever been to Bruges? Ugh, Bruges in Belgium. That was like one of my favorite. They actually based Walt Disney World off of Bruges. It was the biggest swans I've ever seen in my life. I didn't think they were real. I thought they were like animatronic or something. It was crazy. I didn't even know they can get that big. Anyway, I think we're done, you guys. Unless you guys have any questions you want to ask Spirit, I'm happy to, before I get off the line, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have in any way, shape, or form. And definitely please go to Amsterdam, but make sure that you don't walk around by yourself, even during the day. It could be, you know, the other thing too is a lot of those old cities like that, you know, there's like little, you know, passageways in between the buildings, and it's just very easy to get like kind of like, you know, kidnapped or shanghaied. And that's not just them, that's everywhere. I mean, my gosh, in Portland, Oregon, they literally have the Shanghai tunnels, you know, like where they literally like built it like to let the drunk sailors like fall down through the floor when they would pass out on the bar, and then they would like drag them out to a ship at sea, and they'd have to work on the ship to get their freedom. Sure, what did you say? Hello, Vero. Nice to see you. Yes, never walk alone. It's not safe. Yeah. Okay, so are you on the right path? Let me okay, right away I heard no, but let's find out why. Okay, so are there any messages from this deck? Let me see if there's any messages from this deck. Are there any messages from this deck? Is she on the right path? Okay, let's see if any other, I feel like something else wants to come in. Okay, hold on. I'm going to use my pendulum and see. I have many, many, many decks. Let me see which ones want to, are there any decks in here that want to speak with her right now, with them? Are there any decks in here that would like to speak with them right now? Are there any decks up here that would like to speak with them? Oh, well, right away I'm getting that, you know, in my cabinet, I have my decks in kind of like certain areas, and my top area is almost all witch decks or tarot or witchy type decks. And so the fact that they went right up there right away tells me that, yeah, let's see. Do we want to hear from any of these decks? Any of these decks? Let's see. I'm going through them right now with my pendulum. Oh, this one, this one, this one. Oh, yay. Oh, yeah. Girl, do you know you're a witch? Or I think you're a girl. And I don't want to call you that if you don't, you know, I try to be as respectful as I can, but oh my gosh. This is a very serious deck. Okay. Welcome, Ebony. Welcome. Oh, Veronica, we met in Olympia at the sister shop. I moved to North Carolina. Oh, I remember you, Veronica. Oh my gosh, Veronica. That's a long time ago. I know exactly who you are. Oh my gosh. Welcome, sister. I haven't seen you in forever. I haven't talked to you in forever. Oh my gosh. Now I see where you say, hi, friend. I missed you. I get you. I get it. Oh my gosh. All right. So, let's start with, okay. So Namira is, am I saying that right? She's open to hear what Spirit has to say. Okay, cool. And then Ebony, you're next. And unless you had a question, Veronica. All right, cool. So you pulled the Seasons of the Witch, the Yule Oracle, which is really cool because we're literally a month away from Yule. Like literally, like, you know, Yule is it starts the same day as winter/summer solstice, which is the 21st of December. So that's interesting. Okay, so they're asking if they're on the right path, Spirit. So can you give them an answer? Oh, wait, that one did not take long to come out. Oh, and it's upside down. Interesting. Okay, ceremony. Let me get my glasses on. I call upon those heralds of winter, dimming light for better sight. Hear thy praise spilling from thy lips. A spell I'll cast for thy spirits in me. Number 4, ceremony. Ooh, interesting. You know what, you guys? I'm feeling I want to take the group reading out. Now that we're going into individual readings, I may have to take a break too for a minute because in real time it's really late here for me. And I've been going for 2 hours, so I may need to hit the loop. I'm going to read the book first. Ooh, it just said you're live. Did we cut out for a minute? I'm sorry if that happened. And if you want to take a screenshot, number 4. Okay, so I'm going to put that here. Also, my eyes went right to this quartz crystal. So do you work with crystals at all? Have you ever worked with crystals? Like, what brought you here? You want to give us a little bit? Because I'm not getting... Oh, look at that, you guys. Look at all the scrying going on in there. That's intense. That's beautiful. Wow, look at that. Because I feel like you're just waking up to who you are. I just heard, do you guys remember that? The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. I don't know who the fuck that's for, and I don't know where that came from. Oh my God, my 70s childhood just came a-calling. So there's something going on with that. Oh, maybe it's something with ceremony. Coffee, something with coffee or cacao ceremony. Ooh, I'm feeling a lot of cool, interesting things coming off you, dude. You do use crystals. Okay, so work with the quartz crystal right now. It's like kind of calling to you, but let's also go into the book and see what is going on. Ooh, look at that. Chills when I open that up. I feel like people are like, I'm getting the chills. Yeah, right? Because, like, you're powerful. Do you know that you're witchy, dude? Like, let's put it this way. You wouldn't pull this deck if you weren't a witch. End of story. Period. End of sentence. You've been through transformation. So, obviously, English isn't your first language, so feel free to explain, like, what feels good, and if you can. If you can't, don't worry about it. It'll come out one way or the other. Hold on. Spirit's taking forever to have me find this page. It's like everything keeps sticking together. And I don't know why. Oh, here we go. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Why? This is really freaking me out. There it is. Like, seriously, it was like I was going to every page but that. So your keywords are rite of passage, direction, and intention. You try to do better every day. That's awesome. You're not aware. Okay. Well, you came here for a reason. I mean, I haven't gone live in a few months, and when Spirit told me they wanted me to start at exactly 10:47 when the baton was being tossed over from the Libra moon to the new moon in Scorpio, and my moon's in Scorpio, I was like, this is gonna be some serious shit. Also, look that it we have to acknowledge that the card is a number 4, and it's on page 40, which is also 4. And 0 is the Fool in the tarot, which is someone, I have a feeling like that you are a natural psychic and a natural witch too. I bet you don't even have to like think hard and things happen for you. Okay, so this says, oh, that's from, we already read it, but I can read it again. I call upon those heralds of winter, dimming light for better sight. Hear thy praise spilling from thy lips, a spell I'll cast for thy spirits in me. And it says, ceremonies are rites of passage that mark the end of one way of being and the beginning of a new journey. You're at a, yeah. So you when you're like, am I on the right path? And I heard no, that's why, because you're about to start something brand spanking new. And we're in the year of the snake right now, which is all about rebirth. And I mean, Scorpio is all about rebirth and transformation. It's about the phoenix rising out of the ashes. So yeah, your whole life's about to change. You just woke up. Welcome, welcome. Okay, it says, we see them represented in birthdays, graduations, and in the case of magic, a series of steps that direct energy towards your desired intention. To perform a ceremony is a pledge to transcend your former self so that you may become wiser and more powerful. You have pulled ceremony because you are ready to rise to a new level of being. Where you are now is much too small for who you're becoming. You're ready to expand and to start reaching for bigger goals. Do not be afraid of your power, for you are destined to do and have more extraordinary things. If ever you doubt yourself, know that you have earned your seat at this new table through the lessons, challenges, and hardships you have previously endured. Yes, I heard that too in past lives. You may wish to perform a ceremony of your own to cement your commitment to a new direction. And the second page is 41, and 4 and 1 is 5, and 5s are literally like change and transformation. So yeah, you may not be on the right path of like where you are in your life right now, but you're on the right path. Like you found yourself here today. I don't know if you've subscribed before or you're brand new or you just found us or whatever, but welcome, because we've been growing in numbers for years. And this tribe, I've had times where I'd say to Spirit, I don't understand, like, how come I don't have hundreds of thousands of followers like other people, like, and I realized, part of my job is to be a healer for the healers, oh, good. Thank you. But it's also to, we're not like everybody else. We really are the chosen ones. Like we are here for a reason. And I don't use that very often, but Spirit's been having me use that hashtag more recently. And I think it's because there are people who align with that terminology. So whether I feed into it or not, doesn't matter. Just like today, I'm like, I mean, I love going live, but I mean, it was late and I was like, oh, and I have all these things to do tomorrow. And I was like, wow. But they're like, no, like sometimes we just, it's about the timing. It's about divine timing and everything happens exactly as it's meant to. And I wasn't ready then. You weren't ready then, but you're ready now. You know that you're different. You know that you have something special. So now that you're subscribed, there's tons of readings on here, especially the picker readings. Go through some of the picker readings on this channel and look under the playlists and check out all the different picker readings, the ones that you're called to. And, you are different and you're good different. When you're saying like, I can feel your tender heart, like I can feel how loving you are. I can feel how kind and gentle you are. And, that's the energy that we need that's exactly what the planet needs right now. Oh, you found I was like, I think I missed something. Yesterday you found your quartz crystal. That's amazing. Yeah, see, that's a wink wink from spirit, okay? So when that happens, you know, that's just them confirming that you are on the right. The irony is you're on the right path because you're here right now, but you weren't on the right, you know what I'm saying? Like you weren't on the right path, like whatever direction you were going in. It's like, you know, now, like this is your path and there's no going back now. And it's going to be different for everybody. So I like the picker readings because they kind of give you, you know, I don't do astrology or like, you know, like the astrology signs or astrological signs. Like I don't really do that. Sometimes once in a while they'll have me do like water, air, earth, fire signs or something, but um because we're all so different and our charts are different. And you know, you can, like myself, I'm a triple Sag, but my moon's in Scorpio, you know, so it's a very, you know, we are all complex creatures and each one of our paths are going to be completely different. Some people have an awakening and they start a channel and they're like overnight and you're like, what the how, you know? And then there's like other people like myself, it's like we've been working for years and it's like, yeah, but we needed to do that. So whatever you, wherever you are in your path, like everything that you've done and everywhere you've been has led you up to this moment, like literally. Life is a journey. I understand what you are reading for me. Okay, cool. Yeah, exactly. So now you're ready for a new chapter. Let's see if there are any other cards that want to accommodate that. I'm gonna since I have 3 decks in front of me, I'm trying all of them. I'm gonna go back to the deck that we pulled for you and see if there's any more. Oh shit. One of these cards just flew across the room. Oh yeah, you got more. I'm like, you got more. Okay. The next one is gratitude. Oh, I love gratitude. It's one of my favorite things in the world. The more gratitude you have, the more the universe wants to give you. It's the truth. It's the truth. I've watched it in action my whole like experience of my lifetime. Let me see what this has to say. Number 18, which is also the number 9, and we're in a 9 years. So that means like you're really close. You're like right around the corner for a whole new change. It says, all that I am and all that I'll be, forever in gratitude, I'll eternally be. That's right. Because there's nothing like it, you know? There really isn't. Also, I think it's interesting that, because I know this deck pretty well, and I think it's interesting that both of these cards have shrouds. Both of them are wearing something over their faces, like hidden. So this is the other thing I got from Spirit recently is I said, why 55? And they were like, because everything had to align perfectly. They're like, you needed to be in your crone, like you needed to be going towards your elder. You needed to be here at this time. This had to happen at this time. And they were like showing me like everything. And then I got this really funny thing from Spirit. They're like, you've been in the spiritual witness protection program. So I kind of feel like that's for you too. Like you've been in some type of like spiritual protection program, like you've just been like collecting like knowledge, even inadvertently, even when you didn't even realize you were doing it. You've been collecting all this spiritual knowledge over time. And being an empath, you can feel how other people feel, so it's easy for you to help people. Also, I can't help but see you in a crystal shop. So if you've been thinking about what job you can do, and this comes up, but it's, oh yeah. Oh, sorry. I just noticed you wrote other thing. Yes, I do gratitude meditation if I wait when you wake up and before you go to sleep. I love that. And see, that's another wink, wink too. That Spirit's saying that they see you doing that and they really love and respect you for it. Look at how her hands are like, she's praying. She's in prayer hands, but her hands are lit up. And I wouldn't be surprised if you're a natural Reiki. Do your hands get really hot? Do you heal people naturally? You always ask for protection because you feel so much. Yeah, you know what though? Here's the thing. If I can find it, I will post. Keep looking in the shorts section of my channel. I have this really cool interview that I took a snippet of, and it's with Carl Jung, and he talks about the power of the empath and how the empath will be there and be there and be there and be there until they're not, until they finally, you know, it's like, because we've been told that empaths are weak, and we're not weak. We're very, 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 very strong. It takes a lot of strength to have this much compassion for other people. So you said, yes, your hands, something is with that. So yeah, check that out. And also look up Reiki. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. You're probably a natural Reiki, especially with the hands being lit up. There's something there. I'm a natural Reiki as well. I'm not saying every witch is a natural Reiki, But also you got to remember too that there's a lot of people out there who think they're witches and they're not. And there's some of us, we're just natural witches. Like that's just who we are. Also, have you guys noticed this? This is kind of throwing me too, but in like a cool way. Have you guys noticed how like this kind of like two-tone where it's like she's in the snow and then it's like a dark forest behind her, and then here it's they're out in the white snow and it's daytime, but the trees are dark. I don't know, there was something about the cards, the way that the cards are aligning almost like perfectly. Oh, look at that, when I pushed them together. Do you see what I'm saying? Also, um, oh, oh my gosh, Namira, I have a feeling you're meant to, I don't know when this is going to happen. Remember that I see everything all at once. So it could be 5 minutes from now, it could be 5 years from now. But I just realized something. I feel like this is like you know what I mean? Like this is you and your group and I feel like you're going to be the leader of your own coven, or you're going to join a group, and like maybe over time you'll be like more. I mean, let's put it this way. I keep trying to want to be parts. I'm a part of a coven in terms of like on this channel with you guys, right? Like, and like Jessica came on, earlier. She's one of our all stars, and I have a lot of really close healer friends, right? So we are kind of a coven, but we don't live near each other. We're not by each other all the time. We're all different. We all have all different gifts. I just heard Banshee, by the way, and I don't know if that's you or if that's somebody else that came in here, but somebody in here is a Banshee. They're very real, you guys. Everything you've ever read, everything you've ever seen, it's real. It's real. It's not just in movies and not just in books. I mean, we can all shapeshift, you know? I mean, maybe we all can't glamour like in the craft, right? And like change our hair color, like, some people can though. Let's just put it this way. I've seen so much shit that nothing like I feel like it's like if you believe in everything, if you believe in nothing, then you have to believe in everything. It's that kind of like way of thinking. Like if that's real, then everything's real. We don't get to pick and choose because we co-created it. So it is real. It doesn't matter. It's real now. Like I was having this conversation with this being from Inner Earth, and they were telling me about the Elvish and like Lord of the Rings, and like there's a very similar world like that in Inner Earth, on planet Earth. But a lot of people don't want to believe that. We're surface dwellers. We're like the movies, and like, it's kind of like this Hades or whatever. But but it's a training ground. It's a school. We're all here to learn different things. But I feel like in this group, I just see you as the most powerful. But I know for myself, like what I was leading to is that I tend to not be around a lot of, let's put it this way, every coven that's ever introduced me or pulled me in, within a short period of time, I realized like they're not my people. I mean, they're my people because we believe in like goodness and healing and all that. But in terms of like, my goal is to be in, if I'm ever going to be in a coven, then they better be as strong as me or stronger than me, because otherwise even if they don't mean to, you can get drained really easily. So be mindful on your journey. No fear. There's no fear to be had, but just be mindful on your journey that there's going to be a lot of people who are going to, want you to join their group, or you're very powerful. If you found yourself here, I've said this so many times, like you are a very, very powerful light worker, earth angel, whatever you align with, it's different for everybody, but you definitely have a major purpose. So let's see if they have any more cards, or if they want me to read the book for that. Do we want to read the book for the gratitude? Yeah, there's a few messages in the book they want me to read to you. Okay, here we go. Oh, I gotta put my glasses back on. I'm like a hair away from going to turn my light on. What did you say? Oh, sorry. Oops. Okay, good. She said she's mindful of that. Okay, good. Let's see, 18, 18, 18. So normally I would put it on pause when I'm looking, but I can't do that here. Okay, so here we go. Gratitude. Let's see if I can get in there. So your keywords are acknowledgement and appreciation. All that I am and all that I'll be, forever in gratitude, I'll eternally be. And it's on page 71. That's also number 8, and 8's about infinity. But 7s are about cycles, and 1s are about new beginnings. So I feel like you're at the end of like something major and something new. Did you just get a divorce? Or I just heard divorce, or it's either that or like maybe your parents got divorced when you were young. It went by really, really, really fast. But I just heard divorce, and I saw like a little girl, and it was like somebody showed me like a short film in like 3 seconds, and I was like, oh, okay. So so it's either you just are like getting out of like a big relationship, or there's something going on with you in romantic relationships because of a divorce or something like that you had to go through when you were a child. Because I felt something like, and I felt like I saw like a parent holding a child's hand, and then like the child kind of got ripped away. And they were upset. So I don't know if that means anything to you. Okay. So it says, it can be challenging to find gratitude in times of distress and chaos, but those are the best times to lean into what you have to be thankful for. Gratitude is like an anchor, holding you steady when the world around you spins out of control. Most of us are thankful for the big things like a new car, money, or finding someone you love. But what about small things like the perfect cup of coffee in the morning? Oh, remember we talked about coffee at the beginning of this? That's so crazy. That's really wild. That's really wild. I feel like there's something with that, or ceremony or something, or a coffee shop, or I don't know. Did you work at a coffee shop? Or are you thinking about working at one? I'm like, there's so many things coming through. It's like I got my second wind, and all of a sudden I'm just like, I'm on fire. Okay. All right. So it can be challenging to find gratitude in times of distress and chaos, but those are the best times to lean into what you have to be thankful for. Gratitude is like an anchor holding you steady when the world around you spins out of control. Most of us are thankful for the big things like a new car, money, or finding someone you love. But what about the small things like the perfect cup of coffee in the morning or hearing your favorite song on the radio? You can even be grateful for things that haven't happened to you, such as not getting the flu this year. There's so many things and there's so many ways to bring gratitude into your life. And the more you do, the more you will see your manifestations coming to pass. You have pulled gratitude as a reminder to be thankful for your situation, no matter the circumstances. You may not understand why this is happening to you, but trust that it leads you towards a divine purpose. The universe needs to feel appreciation, just like you and me. The more you can be grateful, even when you'd rather complain, the more the universe will respond in thanks for your acknowledgement. Gratitude may also help you to see your situation from a new point of view. Here's a magic tip. If you want to take a screenshot, hold on. I gotta move this or else I'm gonna burn. Oh my gosh, it just got so hot in here. I feel like I'm gonna pass out. It's so hot in here. It's like that was sitting right under the heater. Okay. If you want to take a screenshot, there's your magic tip to work with. And it says, keep a gratitude journal and write down at least one thing you're grateful for each day. Then for everything you write down something else that hasn't happened yet. This is good for all of us. Put a star next to it so that you know it's something that you're setting an intention for. For example, today I'm grateful for my loving partner. Today I'm grateful because I'm now a millionaire. See, look at that. Every few months, review your journal to see how many things you have to be grateful for and see how many starred intentions came true, which is also on page 73, and that's about 10's completion. Seriously, it is so darn hot in here. Okay, cool. You got a screenshot. Good. Okay, I think we're good. I hope that helped you. Let me see if there's any more. Nope, that's it. I hope that helped you in any way, dear heart. Love you so much. Thank you for being here, and thank you for liking and subscribing, you guys, and stopping by, and on the description box if you'd like to contribute. But just remember that prayer is free. It's just about the exchange of energy. Whenever we do things for each other or help each other out, it's always nice to, say a little prayer, or you buy somebody a cup of coffee, or you're like, you buy somebody their favorite meal because you're like, oh, thanks so much for helping me, But good. I'm so glad it helped you. I mean, I literally said to Spirit, I said, if one person shows up and we help them, I will be so happy. So I'm so glad we can help you. Oh, good night, Jessica. Sweet dreams, my friend. Check in when you get a chance and let me know what's going on in your world. And thank you for all your contributions, dude. You don't even know. It helps so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Is Ebony, are you still here? I'm like, it's that time of night, or it's that time that it's like, depending on where you are in the world, it's either really late or really early. Or I guess not that early, depending on where you are. But I don't know if Ebony had a question. I'm going to go back and see if I can find it. Oh, Veronica, are you still here? North Carolina, it's got to be really early there for you because you're 3 hours ahead of us. What time is it? I haven't even looked at my clock. Oh, it's 1 o'clock. It feels so much later to me. It feels so much later. It feels like 3 in the morning to me right now. I'm going to check my battery too and make sure oh, cool. Well, I still got time. Ebony said, hey there, I'm Ebony. I just want to know, will I be all right? Oh, of course you're going to be all right, my love. You're going to be okay. Let's see. Let's see if, let's see. Ebony wants to know if she's going to be all right. We know she's going to be all right. Oh, that's so nice. I love that you guys are talking to each other. You're so welcome for the reading, my love. Thank you for stopping by. Jessica, I miss you so much. Okay, do we want to pull any cards from this deck for Ebony? Nope. Do we want to pull any from this deck for Ebony? I'm gonna still do it just in case, because maybe she fell asleep or maybe she left and gave up, and they may come back. And just in case they come back and watch this video, let me see. Either Spirit will have me pull cards or they won't. Okay, I miss our live sessions. They're so fun. And I like doing them this late, but you know what? I think it'll shift again. You know, we just had the time change and it's really been messing with me. And this doesn't happen very long. I'm a natural night owl. So, once in a while this happens where like I keep waking up at like 5 or 6 and going to bed early, but then it all kind of like works itself out. So I'll start doing more late again, you know. Jessica's so funny. I know I made you laugh. You make me laugh too. All right. Do we want to pull any cards for Ebony? Did she have to go? Is Ebony still here? Do we want to pull any cards for her? All right. Unless anybody else has another question, I think I'm going to wrap it up. Oh my gosh, you guys looked down. It was 2:22. Woo, woo, woo. I'll have to go back in tomorrow and edit this and put in all of our extra stuff. But after this, I'm probably going to conk out because I have a huge day tomorrow. I have so many things I have to get done. And I don't drive. I let my license expire like before the pandemic. And then I just got really lazy about it. And now it's just like I have to go through the whole driving test and everything again. And where I live, in the state that I live, it's such a pain in the arse. Like it's such a pain in the arse. Like you have to go to one place to take the written test and you have to pay them. And then you have to go to another place to take the driving test and you have to pay them. Then you have to take all of your documents from those places. And then you have to go to the state and then you have to go through all of that and all that paperwork and all. It's such a fucking nightmare. I just don't want to do it. So I've gotten really bad about it. Even like we've gotten to the point where like we say, and it's expensive because I live in a border state of Washington and Canada. So we have this thing where it's not just a driver's license. It's like a passport and a driver's license in one. And now starting, I think this January, it's going to be mandatory that like, if you drive, like you have to have one. And it's like, by the time you pay for everything, I think I figured it out. It was like $460. And I'm like, just to have a piece of plastic that says I can drive. So ridiculous. But it is what it is. You got to do what you got to do. But I don't know if we're going to be living in Washington forever. So I don't know. I keep asking Spirit if I should get it and they'll say no. So I just say, okay. But anyway, so my partner's picking me up tomorrow morning at 10. We are not living together right now. We're working on things, but we're not living together. So he's picking me up at 10 and we're going to run into town. And I've got a whole list of stuff that I have to get done because tomorrow's a week from American Thanksgiving, which I call Gratitude Day. Or I call it, or I refer to it as Gratitude Day. And I really don't like to go shopping during those times. So I have a massive shopping day tomorrow because I have to buy all of my regular food, and then I've got to get all of my stuff for gratitude day too. And I have to get water and propane. You know, when you live off grid, it's like we have to do everything in one day. So we'll start at 10, and usually it takes us like, I don't know how many hours. And I'm mailing a special gift to my friend who just got a new house. I'm so excited for her. So I put together a little care package for a little housewarming, a little smudgy, and some other little gifts to send her. So yeah, so I've got a big day tomorrow, and then and I do a work trade on the property, and my landlord was like, "Can you try and mow one more time?" And I'm like, "Dude, it's been raining. You can hear the rain just started." I'm like, "It's been raining so much." He's like, "I know, but it's gonna be dry for like 3 or 4 days." And he's like, "Can you try?" I'm like, "Okay." So I got to do that on Friday. So I am a busy, busy lady. But if you'd like to work with me one-on-one outside of here, you can email me at magicalmedium@gmail.com. It's in the description box. Thank you so much. You know, you're right. I do enjoy it. It's a long day. Um, she said, "Enjoy your day tomorrow, Namira." It is a long day, but it's also fun because like once you get everything, I don't know about you guys because I don't go out into the world very often. And so like once a week or once every 10 days, I do like my big shopping stuff, and I go to the co-op and I get all my, I'm blessed to have a co-op where we have like bulk items, and I can go and fill all my jars with all my goodies and all my cooking and my baking stuff. So I'm really excited. I'm gonna, but it's super fun. And then I come home and I get to put it all away, and it's also my day that I treat myself to eat out because it's such a big day that I don't want to cook and bake. It takes so much work, especially when you have to get your own water and heat your own water and all that. And I have to have all that when I'm cooking and baking and all that. But I'm excited. So for Gratitude Day, I'm vegan. My partner and I are vegan, but I'm going to make, I don't know if I'm going to do like a tofurkey or if I'm going to like put together some type of quote unquote meat, something that kind of resembles meat. And then I've been craving gravy. There's this brand, this organic brand. I can't remember the name of the company, but it was like, I think 2 or 3 years ago we tried it, and it was like one of those pack gravies, that you just like stir in water or whatever. But I really doctored it up with like nutritional yeast and liquid aminos and oils, and it was so fucking good, dude. You would have never known it was not like, it was like mushroom. It kind of reminded me of the old mushroom gravies, like when I was a kid, when you'd go to like the old diners in the 70s, but like in a good way. So I've been craving mashed potatoes. So I'm gonna make mashed potatoes and gravy. I'm gonna make green beans, not the casserole, but I'm gonna do like some kind of fun, funky, kind of cool green bean. And I'm making this apple, I don't know, it's like a pie, but it's from the Pioneer Woman recipe. I've never made it, but I've wanted to make it for a long time. But it's like making an apple pie in a skillet. So I'm gonna make that. I'm gonna make pumpkin brownies, but you make them, it's super easy. You just use canned pumpkin. I don't have anybody to do the whole pumpkin. When I'm making so much food, I'm like, you got to give in some places. But you take canned pumpkin and dark chocolate chips, and you like melt them together, and they're supposed to make these amazing brownies. So I'm going to try and make those, and then I'm going to make a homemade salsa because we both love chips and dip, and I'm going to make some homemade pickles, just like a fun, like, there's only two of us, so we just like make like all of our favorite foods, whether they go together or not. But I like to have like snackies, and I'm sure we'll have like chips, and I might do some vegan cheeses and crackers, but it's gonna be fun. So I'm gonna do that. And yeah, so I'll have all my stuff. And then I think I'm gonna color my hair. I think I'm gonna do it before December hits. And also I'm not gonna do it now, but I am going to do a video on this. I got a new diary. You guys, I am in love with this. I'm going to do a whole episode about this diary. I found it on Amazon, but it's actually from these British ladies. I forget their here. Maybe it'll say it on here. So if you want to look into it. So they're normally done in the UK, but they've only been doing the American version for not very long. I think she said 3 years in the interview that I read. But anyway, it's really rad. It's got like all these different, it's a calendar, but it also has like all the astrology and the moon stuff, but then they also have like stories and artwork. Let me see if I can find some artwork. And then they give you like projects. Here's a fun piece of art. Then they give you like little, like, it's like a workbook too. It's awesome. I've never spent that much. Normally I just go to like the low price shops and get like a little, I mean, I got this calendar, I think for like not even $5, and it was like a 2-year planner. But this one's like all the bells and whistles. I mean, this is just like, there's nothing on here. I did it because I always had to put like Mercury retrograde and the moon and everything. And I always had to go do that myself, which isn't bad because then I have some awareness around what was come down the pipeline. But this one's different. It's nice that I don't have to do that. It'll have everything there and all the astrology stuff. Ooh, my ears are ringing. Who is here? Somebody just came in. Holy shit, my fucking ears just feel like they just exploded. Anyway, but I really love this, and I'm going to do a little like video on it to show more about it, but I highly recommend it because they sell out really fast. So I got mine on Amazon, and it was, I'll tell you what, it's the best $30 I've spent in a really long time. I loved it right away. The only thing that kind of, I was a little upset, I thought it was going to be bigger, but then when I started playing with it and like working with it, I'm like, oh no, it's perfect. It's like the perfect size. I mean, honestly, you could tell they've been doing this for a minute. But I love it because, you know, we run in different times, you know, like, I mean, one of our other all-stars, Anna, you know, she's in the UK, just like, you know, Namira, you guys in European time, right? Like it's different. So we really rely on that. And so they were saying like people were buying it from other countries, but they were, especially America, but they were like bummed because they're like, you know, it doesn't have the same holidays and doesn't have the same, you know, the time zones are different and like all that kind of stuff. But it's really cool. I haven't fully worked. I haven't even like really gone through it because I want to do it with you guys. But I just, for some reason, I feel like somebody needed to see that. Maybe it's for you, Namira. Maybe it's for Jessica. Maybe it's for Anna. Maybe it's somebody. But I just think it's a really great book. All right, you guys. Does anybody else have anything before I head out? I'm about to head out and say goodbye. But Namira, I will post that. I will look for that. Check out the shorts after we get done here. I will go and find that and I'll post it. So it'll probably be the last shorts that'll be posted. But check it out. It's really powerful. Like click on, like it'll have the shorts, but then like click on the lower right, you know, that'll take you to the full interview from Carl Jung. You know, it's, I didn't even realize that they were even talking about empaths back then. You're welcome. I really honestly, like, I had no idea like how long this is, you know, like I said, I mean, when I was a kid, the most I did was like look at my horoscope. I didn't know all this stuff. Like I was saying, in the words of Roseanne from the show, the original, she's like, everyone's like, oh, Dan's so awesome. You have the best husband ever. And they're like, how long have you been married? She's like, 20 years. She's like, 20 years it took me to get him to be like that. She's like, you think you came out of a box like that? That's what I say about me. I'm like, you guys, I'm like, I did not come out of a box like this. I had to work really hard, and it takes time, you know? So yeah, you know, check out this channel, check out other channels. Ooh, I just felt a weird knot in my leg. Ugh. I have one on one of my other legs, but I'd never felt this one before. I get hurt all the time living in this tiny home. Anyway, I have the attention span of a gnat. It's really late. I'm tired. I didn't sleep very well the night before and I think I slept about 5 hours. I kept trying to stay up late the last few nights because I knew I was going to be doing this, but in a weird way, I think it kind of backfired a little bit because I couldn't sleep. And then this morning I woke up and I was like, no, I made myself go back to sleep like 3 times. And then finally it was like 8 o'clock and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it. And I kind of laid there till almost 9. And I was like, no, it's not gonna happen. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, you guys, I'm heading out. Until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other. I hope these readings helped you in any way. And you know, there's so many things going on in the playlist too. The other thing I wanted to bring up is oh wait, you know what? Spirit wanted me to do screenshots of those. Sorry, you guys. And check out, I don't know if I'll do it now because I'm tired, but check out in the community section. I'll take pictures of some of these spell cards that we did for the tribe. And if you need better screenshots for your readings, you guys, let me know. Okay. Nobody else came in the meantime, did they? No. Okay. All right. Let me see if Spirit has any more messages for anybody else. Do we have any more messages for anybody else? Do we have anything else before we close down this chapter? Nothing else. Just, welcome to the new moon in Scorpio. I have a feeling a picker reading's coming around the corner. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we end up doing like a new moon picker reading, like to see like what intentions like would be good to set, or if there's any like messages from Spirit. But I do as I do. I channel what Spirit wants me to. So just because that's what I think is going to happen doesn't mean it's what's going to happen. But I hope it is. I hope it is. If not, it'll probably be some type of picker reading. If it's not a moon in Scorpio, it'll be something else. But because my moon's in Scorpio, I'm sure I'll be doing a lot more intense energy. And because Sagittarius season's coming in the next few days, I have a feeling Spirit wants me to rock out over the next several weeks. Because it's time for me to shine, baby. It's my time. I've put in my dues and it's my time. And I know I'm putting the groundwork. I can feel it. I've been planting the seeds for a long time. I'm a millionaire. I have $7,144,000 in my bank account. And don't you think it's interesting that that is the number that Spirit gave me? 7 is my life path number. It's all about cycles. I've been talking about divine timing. And 144,000, they say that there are 144,000 light workers that are on the planet right now that are helping with the ascension process. Is that a coincidence? I think not. So lean into the supernatural and remember, breathe and say, I believe in magic and miracles. Start rewiring your brain and telling your brain that you are a millionaire. There's nothing wrong with money. Money's wonderful. I love money. Money loves me. Say that too, right? Like it's all, yeah, exactly. Hands up, man. We got this. We got this. We are a group. We are a collective. And the more we stay in the high vibration, the easier it's going to be for the rest of the energies to come and meet us where we are. I love you so much. Love yourselves and each other. Until next time, I'll see you. Bye. Blessed be. Oh, bye-bye. Oh, and thank you everybody for being here. And thank you to all of our guides and everybody. Oh my gosh. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Spirit. Thank you, everybody. We love you. It's late. They understand. All right. I'll see you later. Love you. Bye.